Cue it up.
Gak will join us in a moment. He's updating Zoom.
Oh, okay. I'll put starting soon.
Starting already.
Should be starting right now.
Starting in the past.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. I guess we are live. Welcome, everybody, to the Arcade Hangout. We are waiting on Carrie and Gak. They'll be here any minute. Nashvillian Clint is in the room. He's just a voice.
You pronounced it right the first time.
Oh, good. We have Leo today, which is great. I haven't seen him on the show. And we have Mr. James. I mod my Wonkas. I buy Wonka mods and then I don't put them in. And but he has his reasons, which I can understand. I don't put all my mods in either. Because you get them, you think they're awesome, you get there and you're like, no.
No, not so much. They look much better in the picture.
Or too cluttered. Yeah, you don't want it too cluttered looking. It's got to hit that happy medium, where it still looks cool. Like it's my goal is to like sometimes try to make it look like the pin could have came that way,
Yeah, exactly. Either that or it improves on something or enhances the experience or makes the gameplay like easier. Carrie was saying, like the ramp signs help identify which ramp.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
So stuff like that, but yeah.
Yep. So I did like the chocolate. It did look cool, but it was kind of big.
If I didn't have that gobstopper ramp sign in there, maybe I would have done something with that. I even thought about going over the ramp with the chocolate, but it doesn't have like any, So.
Yeah. I had so here's an idea. I'm just throwing this out there to see.
Yeah, right. You keep trying to change my mind.
Just where the plunger, the ball shoots out from, right above it. It's there's usually it's like a trough of two pieces of wood, and there's usually a screw there for something. So I was thinking maybe right there in front of where the ball launches out in the far.
Oh yeah, I know what you're saying.
Far right.
I did look kind of in that, like I looked all over, and I think it's too big. Yeah, I think it's too, or the mount doesn't line up. There's something with that. Yeah, I'll have to recheck it, but yeah.
I always look for like what can be held by 3M or a screw with this mount, and see which one I can do. So yeah, that's
well,
cool.
And those the mushrooms and the gumdrops have definitely stood the test of vibration, because when you get the Wonka Vader multi-ball, the whole fucking thing is like crazy vibrating, and those things haven't budged at all. So I'm like, that's some strong adhesive.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
But I don't know if you saw my post last night. I had to do my first flipper adjustments.
Oh yeah.
But,
that's part of it sometimes.
It's nice to be able to fix stuff and learn, but I hope I don't have to keep learning on a regular basis. If you catch my drift.
Well, it depends on how much you go in there. Now that you have it set up, you probably won't have to go in there for a long time. Which is one good thing about having a new machine. It's not an old machine. That's why I was always afraid of Whitewater breaking down, because it's so old, and I don't want to have to go in and
don't say that. Gak's on.
Dismantle it. And, speaking of that, Gak is here today. Hi, Gak.
Howdy.
I'm introducing everybody today. Gak's here with his new pin, which
we're treating it like it's our first show.
After I'm done introducing everybody, Gak can talk about that good stuff.
Like we're virgins again.
I've got the disclaimer ready too.
I just think everybody should be introduced. So in some way, form or another. Carrie's here singing.
You hate Madonna. Stop singing.
I don't like that song at all, even though it's a classic. I know that's a classic, but
she's gonna do this year's Christmas
but not as much as you hate
live.
Whitney Houston.
Carrie's gonna sing it live.
She's gonna parody a Whitney Houston song, isn't that right?
And Jim's gonna hold up sign like in excess, through the thing with graphics.
Right. I'm gonna live edit multicam style.
Yeah, we're gonna live it.
He knows all the songs I don't like, and can do an excellent job of poking me.
And we have C. Bart, 1987.
Here.
Present.
I'm behind the big guy at the back of the class.
What was that in class of '84? What if I'm not here?
Oh, damn it.
And we got 34K in the high house with his arcade that never breaks down behind him.
Amazing. I actually run this 24/7.
Yeah.
I know.
Don't you have to rebuild
You're just the
the models and the
lucky one,
vectors?
aren't you? So welcome everyone to the Arcade Hangout. One more thing, Jack, before you begin. We like to play disclaimers sometimes, and Jimbo, hit it.
All right. Oh, wait. Screen sharing is disabled.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. The host disabled participant screen sharing.
Oh.
I'm in a
Zoom update.
timeout.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's probably why
here.
your settings were all off.
Try it.
Maybe the update changed
okay.
it.
Got
Try
it.
it now.
The update
Yep,
might have
They might have
cleared
changed
it out.
that rule.
Yeah.
Warning, this broadcast may include images or audio some viewers will find upsetting or disturbing. Despite its name, it is a crapshoot whether the Arcade Hangout will involve any actual arcade-related content. The broadcast will inevitably contain explicit language, adult themes, and depending on the drunkenness level, stories of childhood more appropriately shared in a therapeutic setting. Viewers and listeners of the Arcade Hangout will be exposed to the images and sounds of eating, drinking, vaping, and burping. The hosts are unapologetic for such behavior and encourage viewers to eat, drink, vape, and burp along with them. As evidenced by the number of subscribers to the channel, instances of repeated exposure to the Arcade Hangout are rare, but can result in wanting to use the phrases, "Why can't you grow an ass?" and "tan" at inappropriate times. The Arcade Hangout will not be held liable for viewers experiencing a poop-related boner. If any poop-related boners last more than 4 hours, we actually do not want to know about it. Even we have standards, albeit exceptionally low ones. On behalf of all of the hosts, viewer discretion is advised.
We don't do 10 anymore.
That
That was last season.
Yeah, that was so last. Wait, we're on season 1 yet, right?
Yeah, we're still on season 1. everybody.
Season 1, part 2. We're yeah.
Isn't it still a pilot?
We haven't
The
been
second
renewed
half,
for season
yeah.
2 yet, so yeah.
Yeah,
We're all,
you're right. So we have to keep going with season 1 lest we not be able to come back.
Yeah, yeah. COVID hasn't
Man.
stopped us.
Animes are like that. Where
Our
season
writers are
1,
still
64
busy.
episodes.
Right.
Yeah.
Our writing team.
And then they learn better too. Like what is it, like Thundercats or something like that? Is like 64 episodes in the first season. The next
Yeah, they do
season's
that
like,
sometimes. Like,
next
yikes.
season's like 20.
Yeah. You guys, you don't have to do all 64 at once.
we blew out all of our storylines. We just made shit up as we were going along.
Well, they said they wanted to buy one season, so
Yeah. Oh, hey, if I was getting paid by the episode, I'd be like, let's go. Let's have them go to Earth. Fuck it. I know it doesn't make sense. So let's do it.
And also make sure that the dialect is very, very deliberate and very slow.
And
That's-
talk like
that's-
Captain
Stretch out
Kirk.
the storyline.
that's very true. You ever watch the kind of reboot they did of that? The Thundercats 2000.
They did 2 of them, I think. They did one recently. They won a couple of years ago. Yeah.
Oh, they did?
One super recently?
Yeah, like within the last year, I heard that was
Oh.
like awful. The one a couple of
Oh.
years ago was bad, but not as bad as the new one.
Oh, the
It
one they
was
did a
only
couple of
one
years
off.
ago, I really liked.
Yeah, it was on. It lasted a season, right? On
It was
Cartoon
cut
Network, I
short,
think?
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I do remember that. Yeah, yeah.
The
people were
animation
most
style was
recently-
updated, and the characters were a lot more fleshed out. They're a little bit less 80s, just trying to sell a toy kind of animation.
I like the Tigra storyline. I really
Mhm.
like his the best of them all. But yeah, that was
Yeah.
Mm.
But yeah, so interesting. So you're saying that the new one, not so good?
Yeah, that's why I haven't seen it. I didn't know what it was. I was just actually Googling it the other day. But and has anyone watched the new Voltron that came out a couple of years ago?
Mm-mm.
That was really good. I like
started
that.
watching it, yeah.
There was,
Yeah, it's
there
on
was a
Netflix.
Voltron reboot 10 years ago.
No, this is the on Netflix. It's a Voltron
Oh.
Legacy Defender.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I did see that come up, but I didn't
These-
watch it.
they
That
use
was
CG
really,
for
really
the
good.
robot parts. Yeah.
Yeah, that was really, really good. I enjoyed that a lot.
No, I haven't seen that.
I haven't
Yeah.
finished watching it. I started watching it, and I was
Well, if you
waiting for
guys
them
get
to
time some of these
combine.
days, yeah. If you guys get time one of these days, you can
Yeah.
probably give it a look see. So yeah.
Yeah.
Go Lion.
Yeah, Go Lion. The uncut version is
Mhm.
entertaining. I should download. I just
Speaking
speaking of
Go Lion because it's 5 in Japanese.
Go Lion.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Go
Oh.
is 5.
Oh, it
So
is?
that's
Okay,
five-
cool.
five
Five
lions.
Lion, yeah. I just recently got a subscription to Funimation or what's it called? It's an anime.
Pornhub?
Yeah, Pornhub. That's it.
That's
Yeah, it's called
Fun.
Is that still
Funimation.
free?
Funimation.
Fun Hub.
Yeah, yeah.
That was really close to a spit take. Thanks for that.
I've heard of Filmation, but not Funimation.
Spit it out.
Anyway, it's an anime streaming service, so I can watch Cowboy Bebop again. And they have, what's cool there is that they have the Japanese version and the English dub. Because sometimes I don't want to have to sit and stare at the screen and read. Sometimes I just want it to play in the background. I can look up at the cool parts, or or whatever.
Yeah, fun entertainment. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I mean, I remember the first couple times I saw Akira, it was the dubbed version. So those voices are the way that I remember it. But I like reading the subtitles because it's a lot more accurate, I think.
It's usually better. Yeah, more accurate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes things are.
But yeah, if you just throw it on in the background or something like that, it's like, yeah, just give me the dubbed version. It's fine. I can't, it's like hearing a bunch of Japanese language just screamed like in the background. Sound effects and explosions. Yeah, exactly. It's like,
yeah.
I'll
So,
take the dubbed version.
what's
in those
cool-
scenarios.
I don't know. This might be probably beyond your age group, but this is from my era. There was this animated show that I used to love watching called Star Blazers.
It's on.
Yeah, it's on Funimation, but it's the redone one. Same story, but just fleshed out way better and way awesome animation in it. And I think it's really good. I mean, if you liked Star Blazers at all, I mean, I think it was called the Yamato in the Japanese one.
Yeah, originally it was Yamato.
It's that big boat spaceship that comes out of the water and has got cannons on it, and they got to go to Iskandar to get the radiation removal tool because they're getting bombarded by radiation bombs and Earth's about to go extinct.
So
they got a year to get back.
The ship they promptly like stole from Macross and stuck it on like one of the robot's arms.
Pretty much.
Like Go Lion.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. But it's fun. It's nice and violent too, and people die in it, and I dug it. So anyway, I didn't want to take away from Gak's big announcement. So let's get back to Gak.
What animated show are you watching now?
Let's talk Gets.
All right. Well, I guess you can see over my shoulder.
He turns the camera around. Well, it's this arcade cabinet.
Yeah. Never mind this.
I got new beer on tap. That's what I'm showing off right now.
There you go.
I was gonna say you're gonna turn the camera around and show us your nice new beer keg.
Yeah.
Or he turns it off.
This is a special release I just picked up. So the brewery Knee Deep, they just celebrated their 10th anniversary. So this is a 11% triple IPA.
Oh my god!
Damn.
It's way too early.
I'll
for
probably be
11%.
slurring very soon.
Get to Gak quick. Wouldn't it be funny if Gak turns off his background? It's just green behind him.
Well, I see. I was on my other computer last week. This one I only have. This one is my backdrop. Oh, and I'm disappearing.
Oh no,
that's weird. They're like a halo behind the background.
You've got terrible acne.
Yeah.
Look like half my teeth are missing.
Yeah, you need to brush your teeth a little bit more.
Yeah.
It's like you're from Forest Hill. Forest Hill.
Yes, exactly. There you go.
Tobacco's a hell of a thing. Yeah.
Yes.
To the Kano. That's what it is. You had a metal plating on the side of your face too. So Kano.
There we go. Yeah. So this has been kind of. Oh man, it's probably close to 6 months in the works, to be honest. Back and forth. So local guy, Carrie, you know him, Kevin at Out of Order Arcade, up in Auburn. So he'd been trying to pry a couple games away from me for a while, and I'm like, yeah, you know. And then I'm like, well, I don't know. Let's see. Maybe if we can work out this deal, I'll consider it. So, we went back and forth for like the last couple months, and so it did kind of just come together in the last week. So this came in last Friday night, and local buddy. Okay.
Yeah, I know. What did you lose?
Yeah, I want to hear what you lost.
All right. Well, there's actually 2 pins I'm going to wind up with.
Woo!
Oh, okay.
So it's really
I know. I heard in your video. You're like, I have a space pinball size.
So I'll see if I can pan over so you can see the "Come On Baby" there.
Oh my god! Yeah. Oh, thank God. You
sit in front of "Come On Baby" here next to the.
Yeah.
I forgot you had "Come On Baby."
Yes.
All over again.
When did
Yeah, and I've been backburnering that.
Have you
one
paired
too,
that with a
like-
beer yet, by the way?
It's gonna be in a
Here's some
bottle.
baby formula.
Yes.
Baby food.
It's gonna be like a milk stout or something.
Oh, nice.
This
There you
one's
go.
called the Dirty Diaper.
Yes, right.
It smells
This one's
great.
extra chocolatey, a little chewy.
Yeah.
This is a dark beer. It's called Baby Poo.
Dirty diaper milk stout sounds fucking awful, but so
Very
good.
tasty and delicious.
Yeah. Which ones would
Here
be
is
worse,
gift for
that
you.
or
It's
the?
chocolate.
Which one would be worse, that or like the yeast-based, the female genitalia yeast-based beer?
come on.
With a disclaimer again.
That's right.
I think I'd go with
Play all the disclaimers.
I think I'd go with breast milk first
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
over like an
Is that
infection,
two?
maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. So, anyways, it was initially for the other pin that I'm going to be getting probably in the next week or so. But yeah, so it wound up being I traded 4 games for 2 pins.
Okay.
So just straight across, no cash
All right.
involved, and you know the 2 big
And
ones.
Paperboy wasn't one of them because I can see
No.
it behind you.
No, or 720 or Super
Yeah.
Sprint or Roadrunner.
Oh no.
So it was like I really didn't want to let him go, but I'm kind of like, I don't know. This one I've had for a long time, and this one's like a project. I don't know. It'll take me another couple of years to fucking finish the damn thing. So so
It
my
needs a cap kit.
yeah,
Yeah.
that too. Yeah. So my Cubert, which has the 10-in-1 Doyle kit in it, and then
Bye-bye.
just in the last year, really was like putting it together, was the Dragon's Lair project.
Oh,
Ah.
So
Heard
that's
of
the
that one,
Alley,
huh?
the Alley Master converted, or Dragon's Lair converted to Alley Master, and then I started piecing together those parts. I got the reproduction harness, I got the scoreboard from Keith, I
Yep.
got the Merlin setup, whatever that it was, the circuit boards.
The Dexter.
Dexter, yeah. There was like 2 boards, I guess, and then the software or something. But I mean,
So-
it was a chunk of money investment, you know.
Yeah,
yeah,
it
for
was.
sure.
And
So that was part of the deal.
yeah. So it's
Okay.
basically like I'll say what market value would be on the Cubert and on the Dragon's Lair, how much money I was in on it. So there's some meat on the bones there once he spends the time, you know, finishing it up, making it a Dragon's Lair or whatever. But yeah, it's a project. So, and this is both machines are fully working. So yeah, this is Roller Games, and like I said, it's fully working. No LEDs, which I do plan on changing out to that because the other machine is all LED'd already. So it'll be kind of weird too to have them next to each other. But
Wait,
anyway.
so you traded those 2 vids?
No, so those 2, and then let's see, and then the Rally X, which used to be right where Roller Games is sitting.
Okay.
And then I
Appropriate.
gave him the choice. I said,
Yeah.
because you know, Dave from Buffalo, Carrie, you know this too. I have 2 fire escapes, and so I said, take your pick, either a fire escape,
Either 1 or 2 fire escapes.
yeah. I said either a fire
I'll take
escape,
one.
either a fire escape or my red tent, which I actually have 2 extra monitors for it.
Mm.
So I would kind of
That's a
compare
good
those
deal.
similar in value, the fire escape or the red tent with 2 extra monitors. It's not a fully restored red tent or anything, you know, it's kind of, you know, I put all the reproduction buttons on it. It's all working, but you know, it's a, you know, it's not a minty condition, you know. So
Yeah, how many boards?
just the ones that are in it.
Just-
So it
just the
had
one, yeah.
Goonies on
Okay.
one side and Dr. Mario on the other.
Okay.
So that's what's in it.
So
he's got other boards too, though, I think.
That's
so.
gonna
12 to
free up-
$1,500.
That'll
Yeah.
free up some space too.
Yeah, I
that's
mean,
a huge
honestly,
amount
I
of
put it
space.
at with the 2 monitors, I put it maybe 1,700-ish,
Mhm.
which is kind of where I put this fire
Yep.
escape, right around
Yeah,
that neighborhood.
yeah.
Yep.
So it, you know, I feel like it was a pretty equal trade. But
That's all.
I
that's
feel very
important,
fortunate
is-
because people with pins never want to trade for vids.
For
It's
vids,
either,
vids,
Really
yeah.
want another
it's either for
pin.
pins or to
Yep.
get cash so they can
Yep.
buy a pin.
Right.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
I feel very fortunate with that. So thanks, Kevin. Appreciate it. Cheers.
And usually all pins that have a dot matrix screen, most all of them start at like 2,500 usually. So
So this one does not have.
And-
This
and
is
they go
just
on up.
a digital.
that's what I'm talking about, dot
sort-
matrix.
The other
Yep.
game
That's
is
not
dot
dot
matrix.
matrix.
Oh, is
that's-
that just? Oh, is that
Yeah,
just?
that's just a regular.
Looks like LED.
That's an LCD.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever you
Oh,
call
yeah.
it. Just
But
numeric.
still, I'm just on pin side, and I mean, you can take that with a grain of salt what they value at, but they have
Yeah.
it on the upper end, right under $2,000. You know,
Yeah.
so
which is
so
which
that's not
is
bad.
right around what I would say that
Yeah.
combo of the Rally X and the Red Tent with monitors, in the
Mm-hmm.
same neighborhood. And then
And
the other,
Pinside seems to be pretty good about their pricing because they're really based on like
Real
current-
sales.
Yeah, exactly. Not
Mhm.
just, but yes. What's the other?
so the other pin, any guesses?
Give us a hint.
Well, it would give it away so easily.
Oh, okay.
Wait, so and this is for Qbert and the Dragon's Lair project.
Yes.
So and Qbert was
So
like
that's-
working great and
and it had a 10 and 1
So 2,800-ish value, 2,800 value.
in the Dragon's Lair project.
Yeah.
the Qbert only.
I'll
The
take a
Qbert
guess.
and the Dragon's Lair
It's
is
a-
about 2,800 value.
How about
which is
how
what I
is that a
traded.
Black Knight 2000?
Nope.
I thought that'd be
Would
it.
I don't know if I'd say it.
What era?
It does have a DMD.
Is it
Okay.
90s? Okay.
Street
so
Fighter.
nice.
Terminator.
Yes. So
God.
in my last well, here's one hint. Not that you guys looked this up, but Greg Oslo, he listens to the show. He commented on my last YouTube video, and he pretty much gave it away in there. He's like, I know what it is. Like,
Really? Oh, I don't
yeah.
remember
So it's
seeing that.
it's horror themed. So
Tails.
nope.
Well,
Scared stiff.
Adam's Family.
Nope. So
Damn.
those are too high, I
That's
think.
not
Yeah,
horror.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
too high.
sorry. Yeah, I
Yeah, those are.
said that without thinking about the price.
Nightmare on
kinda
Elm
more.
Street.
bingo.
Oh,
Mhm.
good.
I've never
call.
played
I-
it.
I don't think I ever. Yeah, exactly. I think maybe I played it once ever, but I'm like, I don't know, just the way this whole thing's working, I just gotta go for it, So
I think you can capture balls in like the there's a Freddy's not oven, but what do you call that thing they had? A furnace. I think there's a
Furnace.
furnace in
Yeah,
the back
boiler,
that holds. I think that holds balls, and then you got a big Freddy head in the center.
That spits him out.
spits him out his
head
mouth.
spits-
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
He's
you
got the
guys
hand
know,
with the claw.
He's got the claw.
And the claws come out of the where the
Side.
flippers are,
Yeah.
don't they?
And
So you guys
there's a
know,
ball save claw.
Andrew, Slackmo. You guys know who Slackmo is?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So he's actually just wrapping up shopping it out for him.
Oh, I saw
Oh,
it.
perfect.
Did you? Okay.
Yes. Oh my
So-
God. Oh, that's awesome. Because
I guess there was some issue with the claw on the head or something, so he's kind of dialing that in.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
So once he's done with it, and I guess he's going to wrap it up this weekend or something. But
Yeah, I've heard the claw can be problematic, but you should be able. There's some way you can bulletproof it or something, so it's not
Okay.
as problematic. But that's cool. And then I saw, because when I was looking at getting the Pin Stadium lights, someone had posted on Pinside a photo of Nightmare on Elm Street with the Pin Stadiums, and it looked fucking badass.
Really?
Yeah,
Those cost like $300.
but
or
those
$400?
those
How much
cost like $280.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where yeah.
I might,
Or you, Gak,
you
you
have
don't
it
have
for
to
a
do
while,
that.
you know.
You could do
What
it
you
yourself
think
with the metal strip
yeah.
in your
Well,
shop.
it would be. Well,
Oh,
but
yeah,
I think the
yeah.
one, I could totally fabricate
got
the
this
stuff and
built.
put LED strips in. But I
Yep.
think the key with what Jim says is, doesn't it interact somehow? It ties into the
Yeah.
harness.
Yeah, but you could. I mean, you might be able to program some. I don't know. You program something. It taps into the
On your Wonka.
the GI. Yep. So the general illumination. And then
the
it-
gastrointestinal.
Yep. and then
Thinking
and
what
then
you
the
got.
lungs. No, but then the flasher it taps into every pin's a little bit different where they recommend you tap into, but it also has a flasher spot, and on mine that taps into the power going into the shaker motor. So it does this UV light thing anytime that the shaker motor is activated, and it gets brighter depending on how much the shaker motor is going because the voltage changes. So it's pretty cool, but I'm sure you could probably rig something up.
I'd
similar
say
to
just
that.
daisy chain in to a decent power source, GA source that blinks with stuff. That's you know, you could easily do that, Gak. I don't
or experiment around, because a lot of the way, like with the older pins and stuff, they just use alligator clips and to go right onto the socket of one of the lamps. And
that's what I do. I did tons of stuff like that.
That makes it more interactive, I guess.
That's why it's good to do it to something that,
because otherwise,
to the GI.
I think
attach it to the GI.
There's like a 110 plug inside the machine too. But then it's
but that's always on if you do that.
Once you go dark, you want to follow the general illumination.
Right. Yeah. I see.
Yeah. Granted, the pin stadiums do plug into the service port of the pin, but then they have their own little board that works, and that's where the money, I think, comes into play.
So it's been like 5 or 6 years since I've had a pinball machine, so I've been kind of.
Oh, I never even knew you used to have some.
I'm too cheap to buy them, but I at one time I had 4 pins at once.
Oh wow!
I've had maybe 8 pins.
Well, now you're back.
Yeah.
So
I pulled you back.
So just real quick on that, if you make your own stadium lights, because I know you could with your machine shop stuff, but what you want to do is find a GI that's the same voltage as the strip is, because strips can come in like 6 volt or 5 volt or 12 volt. So I'd probably go with the 12 volts would be the right brightness that you want.
Okay.
And then you can still have them connected to the little remote guy too. So you can adjust it if you needed to.
Like what Jimbo did.
Lower it down if you need to or whatever, you know. So I do that on mine.
Yeah, I'm sure you could create something fucking awesome and tailor it however you want. Yeah.
You might pop
I'm too lazy. I don't have those skills, so I just pay the money.
We already talked on Slack earlier today, but like Jimbo, he sent a link to the flipper service stuff. So the left flipper was sticking, and so it just needed a little
lube it up.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then it's been working fine. So there's a couple small plastic pieces that are the corners broken off, but I don't know if they make any reproduction, but it doesn't take away from the game at all.
Yeah, as long as it plays fine.
I had to loosen one of the nuts that holds the flipper that sets the height of it, and it was a little bit too low, and it's crazy. It's like maybe 3 or 4 millimeters. It's just a tiny little amount.
Makes a huge
difference.
difference.
It's like butter. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And then I checked the other flippers. And I'm like, oh, because no kidding, like 3 days ago, my lower right flipper just didn't seem as powerful when I was hitting the ball up the ramp. Like if I hit it spot on, it'd barely make it. And so I went. You can actually go into on these newer ones, the Jersey Jack at least. You can go into the settings and just turn the power of it up. So I did it 1 notch. Just so, like, for instance, the lowest you can go power setting is 11. The highest is like 26. And by default, it's at 17. I went 1 notch more, and it was like, it just like.
Wow.
No problem. So I was kidding Carrie. I'm like, if I put this thing up to the max, it's gonna launch right out the back of the couch,
shoot out through the side.
I know, it's just gonna like a bullet. And in the menu, it gives you a warning: don't change these unless there's a problem. And so after I adjusted, I checked that flipper after I fixed this one. And I'm like, oh, it's got a little bit of some friction to it too. And I made the same little adjustment, and it was fine. Then I had to turn it back down.
Yeah,
but, yeah,
it affects the gameplay.
I think all the new Stern stuff has the same thing as well, where you can adjust the
it's crazy.
Power.
It's so awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've already adjusted that with the vertical up kicker on
you might
the
not
job
be able
stopper.
to see it, but he's got one that he upgraded with the Rotten Dog backboard here. The circuit board.
Sweet.
And then there's a new board here behind the LED. He said he spent like $700 for those 2 circuit boards. Jesus.
What about the
stuff's so
battery?
much more intimidating to me than the newer stuff, because it's all one little board and a computer, and I know that stuff, but I don't.
So it's like a really big circuit board back here.
Gak, is the battery off the circuit board?
It's probably several circuit boards back there, but yeah,
there's a driver board and
and power boards and
flux capacitor.
Okay.
Fluxing.
Time circuits
running.
Ever since running 2020.
Yeah. Flux capacitor fluxing. All right.
Do this here.
Oh, speaking of Nightmare on Elm
Watch as
Street,
Gak gets electrocuted live on air.
I know, right?
where did I see this? It was someone posted on Facebook, I think. Have you guys seen the 1983 movie called Nightmares? It's an anthology movie.
Yup.
And there's there's an arcade episode with Emilio Estevez.
We've talked about it on the show many times.
Have we? Did I miss?
Lots of times, right, Andrew?
Yep, tons of times. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't see
Bishop
any
of Battle.
times.
Yeah, it's Bishop
So
of
I
Battle.
don't
is
see
the
any
one-
batteries in here at all.
Okay.
I must have been lit
And
or
the board is called Pin Store.
You
or
don't even see a watch
pin
battery,
store.
maybe?
It's Leo's
Watch-
fault.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I don't.
There's
Okay.
going to be
Where
a
would it be
battery
at?
on it
There's
somewhere.
got to be a battery in there somewhere to hold
Yeah.
scores. Unless they chipped it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see here.
That could happen, but not usually on those.
And sometimes it'll be
No.
remoted too. So there might be like a battery holder that's totally separate.
And maybe in the
Off,
back.
off boards. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking around.
So, yeah.
Is there
reminds me, I should change my
a
batteries.
Johnny Hart on tape in there?
Yeah, right. Huh. Yeah,
journey
I'm looking
tape.
around.
Older pins, when you open up, it's like spaghetti falls out of it. It's like, oh, God.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of bunch of harnesses going down in there.
Yeah.
Bunch
crazy.
of condoms.
Well, like
That looks like a WPC back glass or back box there. So it's the same thing on
Dread.
Star Trek and Judge Dredd. Yeah.
Mm.
like my Gold Rush in the basement. All the wires are in nice, tight, handmade looms, and it's just beautiful. The newer ones, it's just spaghetti vomit coming out of them.
It's all about
what's
trying to get
what's
these
the
things
coil?
cranked out.
There's like a coil up on the far left here.
Oh, that's for
It's
when you
probably
win a
for the
free
knocker.
game.
Yeah,
Free
that's the
game knocker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Whack.
that's where mine is
Yep.
too. Upper
Whack, whack.
left. Yeah.
What? Knockers.
At least one.
Nice.
Yeah, exactly.
weird,
What
I don't see any.
knockers?
They only got one knocker.
What knocker? Oh, thank you, doctor. It's just one tit.
So-
Sounds kind of sad.
All right, so I'm getting text. So let's see here. Yeah, they're making fun of me because I don't know the names of the boards. Pin score
Just name them like this is Larry, this is
Mary,
Timmy.
yeah.
Yeah.
This is Mo. This is
Says,
Curly. This
Yeah,
is Shane. We don't
great
like him.
minds.
Kevin.
Yeah, exactly.
So he
yeah.
says
Hallie.
pin score display
Susan.
Rotten Dog MPU. Yeah.
Who's texting you? Giving you shit right now.
So Adam G's watching
Oh.
us. And we have a group text. We have a
Yeah,
group
he's
text
drunk.
between Me, him, and yeah, he's always drunk. We have a group text between me, him, and
Says someone
Kevin.
drinking 11%.
Yes, exactly.
You
Shit.
dick.
Yep. So I
They
don't
wanted me
know.
to build them a bomb, so I took their plutonium and in turn gave them a shiny bomb casing full of used pinball machine parts.
Oh, I guess it's supposed to. The backboard seems like it should, and Kevin seemed to think that. I don't know what I gotta figure it out, but like it seems like the backboard doesn't light up at all unless it's during certain game modes, like during gameplay. But don't they normally kind of light up in general?
It should
be
lit
lit
all the
up.
time.
It's usually in
Yeah.
a track mode
Yeah.
where they
And the track mode should definitely have lights on it.
Yeah, so it could be maybe something got changed on the settings or something. I don't know. But
I doubt there's a separate
Yeah.
setting for the
Slack
back
Mo,
box.
get on it.
yeah, I can't get this fucking thing
Get
back in.
on that.
What the
Right,
fuck,
yeah.
Peter Griffin?
Yeah, licking your nip.
A little lick of the nip.
That's like embedded in our brains.
Isn't that a rap song? No, that's slip of the lip.
Every time I see it, I still laugh years later.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's at least it's plexiglass. That would make me nervous handling this thing.
Mhm.
So how come you don't have Nightmare on Elm Street there yet? What was the reason?
Because Slackmo's
Slackmo's still working.
finishing shopping it out.
Oh, he's still working on it. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
So was
I
that
guess
part
he's
of the-
supposed to finish it this weekend.
Was that part of the deal with that you worked out with Kevin, or
Yes.
yeah? Okay, so
Well, he already had it at Slackmo. I didn't know he.
okay.
It was just he essentially said it's fully working. I didn't realize it was there, but that's fine.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah,
I'm not in
and-
a rush.
Yeah, and Slackmo was when I saw it because I was there, what 2-3 weeks ago to drop
Okay.
off my monitor, And
Okay.
yeah, I saw it. I know right where it is in his house. It's so funny. I'm like, oh, that yeah. And it looks to be in nice shape. It looked to be a good looking one.
Uh-huh.
Jim and I played, I should say, tried to play a game of Nightmare on Elm Street when we were at Arcade Expo, but it was so broken that it's like I can't even judge the
that was a
game. Like
bummer.
it was cool looking, and we had actually been looking forward to playing it, but yeah, it was really fucked up.
Oh,
Oh, that wasn't
working.
loud enough.
Time, bitch.
Prime time.
So I imagine, with pretty much any pin that's like, at least 1990 or newer, like this one, there's probably mods they do for a lot of them, right? I mean, I don't know. I haven't even tried looking. And that, by the way, like even gameplay, like, I play pinball like I play Arkanoid, just keep the ball alive,
That's it, yeah.
And so, like, it says, it has this call out. It says, "Go for the wall," right? This game. I'm like, "Where's the wall?
Right?
Find the wall." I'm like yelling back at the pinball machine, like, "Where the fuck is this wall they're talking about?"
Yeah.
Well, and I've discovered with Wonka, with all the call outs with Wonka, they've got three names for the same spot to hit. Yeah, 3 different names. So
depends on what mode it is. Yeah.
shoot the TV, shoot the Wonka Vision, and shoot the saucer are all the same spot you're supposed to hit. So I don't know what the fuck their deal is.
So around on the left side, there's like a ramp that goes up. On the face of that ramp, it says "Wall of Death." But it's not like lit up or anything, and it doesn't light up when it says "Go for the wall." So I was like,
lame.
I don't know where it's at,
Yeah.
So maybe that's a mod they do too.
I got a little lucky because I actually went into the test menu of Wonka and was going through like just looking at the what they had labeled for the switches and stuff. And I'm like, oh, so that's what that is. It's like another one of those things where it's like I wish where sometimes mods can help with that, where they label something or make with the call outs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyhow,
Jim, I have a question for you on your video.
No, I'm just kidding.
When you're playing it, how come your call outs didn't come out in the audio, but yet you had it
did you see the message?
Yeah, you split it with the headset. Why didn't it still, if you could hear it, why couldn't it pick it up?
Because the capture in the running into my my USB interface it's a mono input. And so it only pulls from one of the 2 channels. And so the music was coming out of one channel apparently, and the callouts come out of the other channel. That's the only way I could figure it.
You're pulling audio from the USB slot, is it not a plug?
So the headphone, so out of the pinball, I've got a headphone splitter. Yeah. And that's still a stereo signal, but plugging it into my USB audio interface, which just like this microphone's a mono device.
Oh, gotcha.
The inputs are looking for a mono signal. So it's only pulling it from one of those 2 channels. And I didn't realize that. All I did was I started a game and I started listening to it. I'm like, okay, it's getting the audio good. And then it wasn't until afterwards I'm like, oh fuck, it's just the music.
Okay, that makes more sense then. All right.
Yeah. So it's kind of a bummer, but it's like, I'm not gonna redo this. I'm not gonna try to play. I played like 3 or 4 games just to and I'm like, I'm not gonna set this all up again.
And if you play it now, you're already better than you were then. So
yeah. And to set up the camera overhead and stuff is a fucking pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a bummer that the call outs and stuff weren't there, but I'm like, well, it is what it is. I'll just have to put up a little message saying I fucked up.
Yeah. Did you like my pictures of the zoom in of me and Gak?
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Oh yeah. I enjoyed that.
It almost looks like
no,
part of the
everything's under a
candy,
microscope.
like part of the side. Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw Andrew. I saw Orange Whip.
Yeah.
That whole wall is
And
granted
Johnny, I
the
think's in there.
Cheyenne and Wonka cover up some of it, but yeah, that's
So I want some of your royalties. I demand royalties for this video.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go after you.
As soon as I
on
start making
YouTube.
money on it, you'll be the first to know.
Yeah.
I want half that nickel.
Yeah. Exactly. I'm in the hole right now, production cost, and
So I owe you money now.
Yeah, totally.
so you get
You've
nothing.
inherited my
What
debts.
What a shitty investment.
There was some guy on.
I'm
on
not a bank,
Clav-
Jim.
I know.
Oh, Jim has to pay
there's
off
some
his
guy.
production crew.
There was some guy on Clav today that was like trying to troll me in my thread, like because he's like, the game doesn't need mods and blah blah blah, and
Fuck off.
I just was not. I was just was not taking the bait. Yeah.
Mods are stupid.
Yeah. What's his name?
Worthless, no good.
Tough Nell or
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Yeah, especially to troll like that on somebody's video. It's like, hey, look here's all these things I'm excited about. Like,
Well,
let me see what I can do to poop in your punch.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
you're like,
Everyone's
let's
got
yuck your
everything's-
yum.
Let's see.
They don't
Everything's
make
got
anything.
good things to say, and then it's like after it was. So he posted once after my first video. And he's like, "I'm more of a player, not really a mod guy with pins, but I do have a Wonka in my house for a bit on loan. Have to say, pretty impressed by how it plays, and I have not been a huge Jersey Jack fan to date. I may have to go back and revisit the one since I have generally not been into them. And then so that's fine. And then I post what was a couple more things, and then you say I'd play it quite a bit first. Oh no, that's someone else. He posted a few times, and then I posted a couple more videos, and then today he's like, yeah, Wonka is a great pin, but like most Jersey Jack games, doesn't exactly scream, "Hey, please put more shit on the playfield for to me." There's already quite a bit going on, and I'm like,
Oh,
and
shut up.
then I respond like, I'm just like, to each their own. I agree that the playfield doesn't need anything added to it, but that factory they had was awful because that fucking
Yeah, the
sucks.
stick of butter is a perfect description.
Yeah,
for
and
that.
and then he responds, well, it's just an opinion, but I think it looks great as it is, and there's too much shit on there to begin with. I do play the thing though, so I'm more concerned about that. Doesn't really need to be decked out like Griswold Christmas house. And I was about to now he's really trying to press my buttons.
Yeah,
But then
he's
I'm like,
fishing.
nah, fuck it. I'm like, yeah. So I'm like, fuck it. I'm just gonna give him the most cordial answer ever. And I'm like, sure, I get where you're coming from. I play mine every day. And he didn't say anything after that.
Nice.
Yeah. Because he's like implying that he plays this game and I don't. It's like, no, I just spent 10 grand and I'm not gonna play it. I just want to mod it and look at it. Yeah.
It's purely for decorational purposes. Yeah.
So I was just like, you fuck, I'm not gonna give in.
Just complain about that. You just want to watch the preview sections of the beginning of the video, like everybody else.
Yeah.
Right.
That was after I started doing that first one, I'm like, hey, if people just wanted to see the whole thing in under 10 minutes, they could.
Yeah, just watch the first 5 minutes of every video or whatever, and boom.
Yeah.
Well, you haven't been fully trolled yet because Spaeth hasn't popped in saying he made like 10 of those mods like 20 years ago, and they're sitting at his desk.
Well, the funny thing is that the people
Is that
have been
Orange Whip or who?
Mark
Spade.
Spade.
Mark Spade, yeah. He's always like,
Orange
yeah.
L whipped. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my
I
God, that would be a whip off.
the funny thing is that the people on pin side have been I feel like I've had more of a welcome on there than with the pin stuff than on Clav, and maybe that's just because Clav is mostly vids.
Yeah,
it's a vid
I'd say
crowd.
that's probably part of it.
So anyhow, I need another drink.
Does that sort of faction on pin side exist? I mean, I go on there a fair bit, but just in spurts. Like if I'm looking for like a problem or trying to figure something out, like I go on there and dig around. But is it the same sort of like faction of like the must be original, you can't add mods, what are you doing? It's like,
I think it's torn, but then again, like I only, how like on Clav, if you subscribe to a thread, then you can just see those threads. On pin side, it's you favorite stuff, threads that you want to subscribe to or whatever. It's different.
so it doesn't automatically subscribe you to the thread just by
No.
applying to it. Yeah,
right. And so I only monitor. There's only three threads maybe. I checked the Jersey Jack section, and then but the specific threads is the main Willy Wonka thread for the owners of that game, and then the thread I created for the video series, and there might be one more, like a Jersey Jack, one general one, but those are the only ones that like I really pay attention to. And so it could very well be that people are kinder, or like because it's just part of the owners club, you know. But I'm sure there's plenty of people that are
hardcore purists.
Oh,
well, I know,
yeah.
And I respect that, like, you know, the arcade side of it, but you know, I just, you know, pins, it's like,
I
especially
rarely see people shooting other people down about mods, though.
Yeah.
Where I go, mostly pin side, it's kind of like subjective, and you might have someone go, "Well, I probably won't put that on mine, but you know, but if you like it, that's cool," you know, that kind of thing. But no, for pins, it's kind of, to me, it's opposite of arcade cabinets. Most of the community like cool mods, and they if they don't want to pay for them, they'll still say, "Oh, that's cool. I like that." You know, like the Tron arcade cabinet. How can you not say that's fucking cool? To replace the shitty Stern.
The original one was pretty
lame. And then someone came up with something really awesome to build a miniature Tron arcade cabinet with the real screen.
With a screen that works.
That shows the game.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I modded that even further. And I put a flash.
Mock plays on his now.
Yeah. I modded it further where I took the flasher. I daisy chained to the flasher a really bright flasher underneath the playfield and aimed it inside the scoop. So when the ball shoots back out, it has the flasher flashes inside the scoop like, and it shoots out. Looks really cool. Yeah, it's a really cool mod to do to make it looks like there's energy down there inside the hole before the ball pops out. So
yeah, no, that's too much going on in the playfield, mock. You know,
I mean, it's basically
need any more shit.
It's basically Clark
Griswold's fucking Christmas house.
I would say a good 85%. If I was going to throw a percentage on it, 85% of pinball people like mods. They might not all put mods on. Like Keith likes mods, but he doesn't put them on a lot of his machines. You know.
Well, that's why he's not even on the show. He doesn't want to talk about fucking mods.
No, he should. He should be on tonight. Talk about mods.
Another thing I didn't even realize about this: Roller Games was a TV show. I didn't even know that.
It was.
I think it was
for like 2 years or something.
It was like
in
Glow.
1990 to 91 or yeah.
It was like Glow or anything.
When I looked it up, they said it was like kind of riding on the coattails of like WWF.
It was. It had little skits in it and shit too.
Where they had kind of like enemies, you know, the good guy, bad guy kind of thing going on, and they're hamming it up and all that.
Go after the Russian.
Yeah. I don't recall the show at all, obviously.
Yeah, I do. I remember watching it. I think it was on Saturdays, if I remember right. Yeah, Saturday like afternoon or so. But yeah, no, it was fun. It was like
I seem to recall the show was canceled right before this pin came out. So the developers
came out.
Oh, really?
Well, when I searched, at least what it says on IMDb, it says the show ran from like 1990 to 92, I think, and the pin came out in 1990. So
what's it called again? Roller Games?
Yeah, Roller Games. Yeah.
I heard
there wasn't much info though on IMDb. But
I know.
Definitely a fun game. Yeah.
Who was it that hit you up? Was it Kev? No, was it Kevin? Who said he wanted to buy it from you if you get tired of it?
Oh yeah, Kevin Sin.
Yeah. So
you had a couple people who were like, "Oh, put me on the list."
Yeah, it's a popular pin actually.
And Dylan, aka Tron Guy.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, I kind of told the guys on the site because I saw him a couple days later, Kevin and Adam. I'm like, yeah, whenever you post some kind of new thing, the vultures start like circling, right? You're like, hey, you ever want to get rid of that? Give me a call.
Look at the body.
Yes, exactly.
Look if you have what you paid for.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I agree. I did the same exact thing to Super Sterns when he got that Black Knight 2000. I was like, dude, all right. I mean, if you ever get bored of that. And every time I see him, I'm like, are you getting bored of that? And he's like, no, my family loves the music.
I get kind of jealous when I see Black Knight 2000s behind people, or like, you know, that sheet. Remember I told you about I'm part of that group on Facebook for like cheap gets, you know, like cheap
poor scores
deals. Poor scores. That's it.
Yeah, I know.
So somebody got a Black Knight for like $200 or some cheap amount. I'm like,
wow.
Yeah. God, it looked good too.
I know what
little dusty.
I know what Super Sterns paid for his, and it was like in really nice shape.
Oh man,
he's not going to sell it to me for that much.
Andrew will get a
If he
Black
ever sells
Knight
it.
before I do, probably.
How is Super Stern's doing? I haven't talked to him. I haven't talked to him forever.
I don't want to pay too much though. Sometimes they're way too much on Craigslist. Like $5,000. I'm not paying $5,000 for Black Knight 2000.
No, I turned
Right.
it down
Yeah.
for 1,800.
I don't want to. I want to pay under $2,000 for it. It's not even worth that. Probably like 1,500 or so.
For which game?
Yeah.
Yeah, good luck.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Black Knight 2000.
That's like me with my Fun House, where I'm like, in my mind, it's still a game that's under $3,000, and it's like,
Yeah. Those days are over. Baby.
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah. Night Flyer. I've been telling Night Flyer. Come on, dude.
That's one of my
Tell me that
favorite
game.
call outs on Wonka. Is this some sort of fun house? Why, you having fun?
Fun.
Yeah.
Great line.
Mine is, this is chocolate, so I can yell
Yeah,
penis.
and now I do that every fucking time that I'm playing. Every time, that's chocolate, and I'm penis.
Yes.
yeah,
Chocolate.
yeah.
Okay, let me ask you this, Jim. Have you gone through? I'll ask Gak this once he plays this fan a bunch. But have you been able to complete each
Nope.
mode?
I
Each
can answer
mode
that.
at some point. Not all of them in a row, but have you been able to complete each one of the modes at some point in some game out there? You know?
I don't think I've come across every mode yet because
Okay.
I certainly haven't got to. I think the most. Have I got 2 golden tickets? I think maybe once. And so apparently, if you get 2 golden tickets and then you hit the saucer, you enter Wonka's office. I haven't been there yet, and so I haven't gotten there yet.
Okay.
But as far as like there's the welcome to the factory, the modes to complete the kids and stuff. I've completed most of them. Like with Veruca, with the good egg, bad egg, you have to hit certain shots in order to get the good egg shots. And then if you with most of the modes, if to complete it or successfully with the ball being live, you have to hit the gobstopper hole, the gobstopper hole
thing. Yeah.
target. Yeah. And I've done that with for that one for the Veruca with the golden egg, the welcome to the factories. You have to hit like the gum targets, and then eventually that opens. And then with the gob, I just a couple days ago, I finally completed 2 cycles with the gobstopper, where if you get a gobstopper multi-ball, once the hole opens up again with the target, if you sink a ball in there, you gain 1 gobstopper for one of the kids, and you have to do that 5 times, and then you get a golden ticket. So it's really you have to get 5 multi-balls, which mean gobstopper multi-balls first, which means hitting that target once to open up the hole, sinking a ball, and doing that 3 times to enable the multi-ball. Then successfully, while the multi-ball is going, sink one in there, which is hard to do because that multi-ball doesn't last real long.
Yeah.
Where the ball relaunches. So that's a bitch. And
so what I was going to ask is, in the game, does that game rules have it where you just need to start the mode to get to the end of the game to Wonka's office, or do you have to complete all the modes and revisit them and complete them before you can? Because some games are like that, where you just have to get to them.
There's
South Park.
There's for each mode there's it's hard to explain, but basically there's 4 iterations of each mode. So like with if you hit the factory ramp, or every time, and you spell out Wonka, every time you hit the factory ramp or you hit the saucer, the saucer is random which of the 3 modes it triggers. It's hard to explain this like just talking about it without a visual, but basically there's 4 iterations. They show up as little illuminated dots, how many times you've done it. And obviously I suck at the game, so I haven't come close, but for some of them, yes, you can. If you start the mode for like one of the kids, like for like Charlie Bucket, you have to do the fizzy lifting drink room. If you don't complete it and the ball drains, you still have at least completed that mode in order to collect him. So you have to do 3 things with each kid. They have to qualify, which is hitting certain targets.
Yep.
Then you have to complete them, which is some more targets. And then you have to collect them, which is usually hitting the captive ball.
And you get a jackpot for that, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And so you have to do that for each kid's a little bit different with how you
Okay.
complete them. But yeah,
See, Jersey Jack's notorious for that though, making it really huge. Like early Stern games were just all
I
you
should
had to
post
do
a-
is
here,
there's
let me
only
post a
5
flow chart.
modes. You start it, and if you whether you complete it or not, you still progress, and then you get to the end. And because those games were made for an arcade, they weren't thinking in a mentality of a home market. So Wonka is built for sort of like kind of both in a way that they know that's going to be a home market, so they do a real complex rule set for it. Like you're saying, it sounds pretty deep. So
yeah. Let me
keep you from
here,
getting bored. I mean, there's a lot of
I'll
things to
share
do.
this. Yeah. Here's a flow chart.
Jeez.
Holy crap,
Yeah, right.
that's complex. Jeez.
Yeah. I mean, put it this way, and this actually makes things a lot simpler. Actually, I think I may have posted the.
You better
guy
make a
did,
poster of that, put it over your pin.
thought
He's
about
gonna
it.
replace all
I'm
the
just-
pictures of all of us up there.
Yeah, on our faces.
Yep, yeah.
There's a gameplay video that one of the guys on the thread did, and I've watched it a couple times because in the first 5 minutes he kind of breaks things down, and he does it pretty well. This helps a bit once you know what they're talking about with some of this stuff. So like, let's see, for instance, let's see here. So skill shot that, I mean, you don't need, like if I go down here, so spell Wonka on the factory ramp, that basically means every time you hit the factory ramp, you get a letter. And once you spell Wonka, one of the modes is enabled, and it's random. If you shoot the left and right loops a certain amount of time. So each one of these, so this is blue, and that's because on the LCD, each one of these is its own category. So if you keep shooting the loops, eventually, if you hit enough of them, a mode will pop up. And if you hit the TV, aka the saucer, aka Wonka Vision, that will enable
Confusing
that mode.
enough right there.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you hit the captive ball enough times, same thing. So they each have their own. You can enable one of these 3 categories of modes by either hitting the captive ball a bunch of times, the loops, or the factory ramp. Then you have to enable the mode by hitting the saucer or the TV. And then, for instance, after you complete Wonka, one of these modes will pop up. And once you hit the TV, one of the that whatever one's up there will engage. So these super X's, these are all multipliers for scores and stuff like that. Award super spinner, that's well, I'm not gonna, this could take fucking all night to just get through a little bit of this. I'm still learning too, like what this shit means.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty involved. Well, you get your money's worth of the Jersey Jack because there's a lot to it.
People on Pinside, no one's gotten to the end of the game yet. Well, wait, I take that back. One person has, because they put everything on the easiest possible setting, as many multi-balls and stuff as possible. But but no one really has done that. And some people have lowered the difficulty and things like that. But I refuse to do that. I'd rather get pissed off at the game and have the challenge and the excitement rather than like spoilers. Like, it's different than playing Toki, and I'm still,
well, sure. I mean, you could just literally just like take the playfield glass off and just like
just
roll the ball around.
Yeah,
and
and
see all the modes.
Yeah,
and what
right,
fun is
yeah.
that,
It's not
right?
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Why
it's
would
not
you
fun.
do that?
Yeah.
It's
Ever.
the same thing. It would
I
be
mean,
like
I
infinite credits on a.
I spent $10,000 not for spoilers.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I still have never finished Judge Dredd. I've gotten to the last point, but I didn't actually finish it. And I've gotten most of the chains all the way up through a whole bunch of times. But that first time I finish it, I'm gonna fucking celebrate. Because I earned it.
You did earn
damn
it.
straight.
Yeah.
You deserve it.
That's right.
Well, I'm at a point now.
And I get
where-
nervous when I get that close too.
Yeah.
It's like,
And you start to choke.
it makes the game a little bit more challenging. And yeah, and it's more.
I can't tell you how
fun.
many times that I stack a multi-ball. Like, so if you get like the gobstopper multi-ball, then you get the kid multi-ball, like you can have 3 or 4 multi-balls going simultaneously, and it never fails. Like, there's 6 balls flying around the playfield, and like 5 of them drain all at once, and it's like, did that really how can that happen?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Yeah.
Right away. I remember when Gak and 34K were at my house and you're helping me move my whitewater. Before we moved it, I showed you the end of the game because I've actually got to that playing it. So, but I wanted you guys to see it because it was kind of neat how it just goes freaking crazy bonkers and shows all this crazy stuff on the screen.
Yeah, I recall seeing
all the
that,
flippers are flipping like crazy. Lights are blinking on and off. And it's a pretty crazy.
So
I guess,
apparently
ending.
there is a multi-ball feature in this game, but I have not been able to hit it. I've only played like 5 times though, so.
Oh, okay. Gotta get some
Well,
more,
I'm at the point now
like
where
I think you got to lock 2 balls, and then when you lock the third, then that's when they all release or something. Because I'm pretty sure I've locked 2 balls, but I don't know.
Is it a physical lock or virtual lock?
Leo. Stop giggling over there.
Well, you're gonna make. You did what?
I'm not saying anything either.
We're talking.
You're looking for more.
Here.
Balls across the nose.
Lisa's got a ball lock too, right?
Yes. Grass.
Do you clean the balls before you put them on the playfield?
I was gonna say,
balls are showing again, Chris.
I mean, am I not supposed to laugh? I mean, God.
I'm wearing the longest shorts I own.
Clean those greasy balls.
Yeah.
Every time you get an old pin.
I'm at the point now with mine where it's tough to get on. It's a big accomplishment to get on the leaderboard now. But I'm stuck in this rut where I can't break past a certain score. Like it's like to get on the board is like maybe 1.5, 1.6 million, and like my best is 2.3. So it's not that big of a gap.
Let me explain to you how it's going to happen, Jim. You're going to be playing the game, and you got to go pick up Carrie at the airport, and you're looking at the watch, and you realize you're having your best game ever, but yet you got to leave because you got to go pick up Carrie, and if you don't pick her up at the airport, she's going to get feisty on you. So you're going to have your best game ever. And you're going to have to walk away from it and go, fuck.
You speak with experience, it sounds like, on this.
I could have had the world record in
well,
Murphy's a proper bastard.
Yeah.
The way it works out.
My best games,
stuff like that.
My best games are always when I'm just going to play one game because I only have a little. It's the same. It's like exactly what you're saying. Like that one we had a show once, and I'm like, it's 10-2 or whatever. I'll just play one game. The days that I'm like, I have plenty of time, I play like 12 games, and all I get is frustrated as fuck, and I start cursing the game, and and I'm like, I gotta walk away. Nah, fuck it, let's go. And then
right, you're playing like 2-minute games. You're like, fuck this.
Oh, it's so ridiculous. Like I'm getting like 30,000 points. You know, it's like I'm getting nothing.
Didn't start anything. Didn't make a single shot. You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
you have like 3 or 4 of those in a row. And you're like, what the fuck am I doing?
Well, and I realized I realized yesterday I was getting frustrated like that too, and then I stopped and I'm like, wait a second, what am I even doing here? I'm not really even playing with any strategy. I'm just getting mad at the game. Like I'm not trying for a multi-ball. I'm just like hitting the flippers.
Just trying to stay alive.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, I need to walk away. No, one more game. It's like that's how it always.
Now you're like a kid in an arcade, just trying to I just want a good long game.
Yeah,
just want
one quarter lasts.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem with being vocal.
I'm sure I've talked about this before, but like it's been a little while. But like what we learned on Black Knight was, of course, like the way to make it easier to play is that if you could make the play field a little bit flatter. And so we used to have this thing where you could just like tuck just the front of your shoes underneath the 2 front legs and like curl your toes back, and then it wouldn't tilt. You know, you wouldn't nudge it a whole lot, and it's like you could get much longer play times
because it's not so steep of an angle.
Yeah, because you're raising it up like
cheater.
Clever though.
Well, we were kids trying to make our quarters last long.
Yeah, you could have got little spacers of like
little free. Well, if we were smart, we would have gotten like little like
bring 2
wedges.
Blocks. Two like
stuff them in there.
Yeah, alphabet blocks and stick them in underneath the
whole alphabet blocks. Like raise it up by like
A and B.
Now the ball's traveling down.
It's going the other way. Like
it's in the back.
Well, yesterday, so my habit now. So it used to be, I would take like an energy drink before I wanted to work out, and so I'd have like 20 to 30 minutes before I felt like it'd kick in. So I'd play Mega Touch. That'd be my thing, or whatever game I was on. And now it's Wonka. So yesterday, I'm like, all right, today's been a good day. I started working on that video for doing the mold a little bit. I got some of that done. I'm like, this has been a pretty productive day. Okay, I'm gonna take my energy drink and play some Wonka. And this is like 5 or 6 p.m. And I turn on Wonka, and I usually I play like 3 games, and or depending on how shitty I'm doing. And it's like the second or third game, the flipper sticks. I'm like, motherfucker.
Too tight.
So I ended up, and it took me a while to figure out what the issue was. And I was almost at the point of like, I'm just going to call Chris with Kingpin Games tomorrow and see what he says. Because I had posted on Pinside, and I'm like, well, I don't know. We'll see what happens. And like half an hour went by. I was fiddling, and I'm like, this isn't, I don't really know exactly what I'm doing. Fuck it. I'm going to stop here. And then someone responded with that video. But long story short, by the time I was done working on it, it's like, 9-10 o'clock. So and then I wanted to just keep playing the game to make sure things were working all right. So like, I didn't even like the whole rest of the day was kind of just shot. It just ate up all that time.
I make it welcome to my world. Nothing gets done.
You just get lost in the vortex. It's like, I've been fucking with this one thing for 4 hours, and it's like, yes, I think it's fixed, and now I need to play this. And now, wait, is that flipper really aligned right? Because now that even though it's working fine, it's not really making the ramp at the same spot.
Straight,
and then I realized that I had to realign it a little bit, and then I start getting paranoid. I'm like, I got to check everything here. And am I just playing like shit, or is this actually how it's supposed to, Yeah. Oh, the joys.
Oh boy. Now everybody has a pin almost. All right, C-Bar. Come on, Leo. Join the club.
Yeah. Does this make you want to get a pin? All this
I have a pin.
C-Bar has one. Yeah.
I have a pin.
It's just Leo.
Oh yeah.
Just
yeah,
Leo. I have the Gold Rush downstairs. And as soon as COVID shits are done, the back glass is going to a buddy's friend to have it repainted where the paint's flaked off.
Oh,
But I don't want to risk it because she, along with a bunch of my brother's other friends, have newborns, and it's like I'm not bringing anything from the outside world into a house with a newborn.
Fire escape counts as my pin. I'm sticking with it. That's my story.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. What's that, Leo? You're sticking to what?
He's got a ball game.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, Leo. If you're gonna buy a pin, what would you buy? Let's say someone gave you 10 grand. They say you can buy any pin you want.
I'd probably either buy World Poker Tour, the WWF game, or the I might. Yeah, or the World Cup soccer game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's actually within grasp. That's a pretty
Thank you.
cheaper.
Yeah, for
That's
10 grand, you can
on-
pretty much get all 3 of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm greedy.
I just texted Dave. I'm like, quit playing poker and get on the show, bitch kicks.
Oh, no poker tonight. No, I think no poker tonight. We played.
Shit, the last time he was texting me when actually it was when was that when you're over
Saturday,
here,
right?
Carrie, or when I was like, holy shit, he's asking. No, we were on the phone, and I'm like, Dave's texting me. He wants to play poker. $40 or $50 buy-ins. I'm like, good God, dude, how much money do you spend a month on fucking playing poker? Because he doesn't win every game or anything. So it's like,
well, the casino opening up is just that money is burning a hole in his pocket. So
that's right. He goes to the casino freak. He goes. How often does he go? Like monthly or?
No comment, just in case. He doesn't want to know.
Dave needs to come on the show. I need to ask him how many protesters he's beaten up.
Oh, that's not Dave.
Is that too soon?
It's
not Dave.
It's so not
Dude,
Dave.
it's still
That's
happening.
What are you drinking tonight?
I know
more
it's
like,
still happening.
it's more like how many protesters
It's happening
has he
right
hugged?
now.
Right
Now.
Yeah,
Actually,
right
actually,
now.
when I
They're
played the
protests
last
happening.
time,
If anything, Dave would be like the cop or security that
No,
goes up
actually,
and hugs
Dave-
them and gives them a beer.
Yeah,
he
exactly.
may have been a little
If
facetious,
anything,
but when I
he'd
played
get
poker
beaten
last
up
time
for
with
bringing-
Dave,
giving them Bud Light.
when I played poker with Dave last time, he was like, "Oh fuck, Jimbo, your fucking state is making my life miserable right now."
Yeah.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a rough time.
Yeah.
Well, I've
Rough
always
for
said
everyone,
Dave's just too lazy to arrest people too. He's like, I got more important things to fucking do. You kidding me? Like,
You get
A lot
you
of
get a
paperwork.
warning. No, you get a warning.
yeah, hey, just don't do this again, all right? Get the
Don't
fuck
make
outta
me
here.
pull you over and give you another warning.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't rape again.
Oh.
Not nice.
Too soon.
Yeah, too far.
Right.
Oh, it's
Too
too
soon.
I don't know if it's too soon. I think it's
It's-
yeah.
Just a joke, people. Settle down. Everyone
Yeah.
wants to like lynch everybody else for everything.
Oh,
Oh, wait, sorry, that's the
Yeah,
wrong word.
careful
I wanted to
here.
use.
Right.
yeah.
Disclaimer,
I'm
disclaimer,
gonna just
disclaimer,
sneak out of
disclaimer.
the shot here.
You know what I mean?
Can I bring us down a minute?
Yeah.
And just
Oh, wait. Further?
But in a different way, like in the y'all are having fun, but because I want to have another drink, but I want to talk about this before I drink anymore. Does that seem fair? Because for Carrie's EM corner, I pulled apart right. Well, I pulled apart the running. So I have that pitch and bat, 1966 Williams pitch and bat classic baseball game, and I
That would be the
pulled
pin.
out.
Sorry. Yep. Good.
Yeah, so I pulled out the Running Man unit and I have it behind me, and I just thought it would be kind of fun to show it because it's like, I don't know, maybe it's stupid, but I
love those
right,
games, yeah.
just the way that they work. So let me grab it real quick. I'm going to take off my headset because
Yeah.
Right.
There we
Those
go.
are really good. Yeah, I forgot about those.
But I thought it would be fun to.
What the heck?
Oh, look at that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is
Awesome.
so.
Oh, baby.
That's nice.
So I've been trying, the thing doesn't work. It's the score motor keeps running. And so I'm starting the kind of like repair 101 on it and trying to figure out what to do. But one of the things so it's like I hadn't successfully gotten it to work, but I'm like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and pull out this and clean it because it had no back door on it. And so there were spiders and dirt, but I just thought it was really cool. So the whole fucking unit, and it's heavy, by the way, plugs in. So this is actually a cardboard that goes around the back. That
Wow.
this little the stadium, and then underneath is where you have, and hopefully you guys can see. Yeah, you guys should be able to see it.
We can see it. Yep.
Yeah.
So you have the little guys who basically are down flat, and then the unit rotates. And what will happen is when it comes around, let's see, you have to see it where I can see that. Oh, there we are. So when it.
Oh, sweet.
So the guy disappears in that one section, like where there's
Yeah. So when it hits over here, there we go. I'll get it to a.
Come on, big money.
Yeah.
So the little dude will get triggered to pop up. You can see him then pop up on the play field.
Yep.
Then as you score runs, then it's rotating around here. And then as it hits, essentially there's a spot on the play field where then it hits, so there, and there's like little rollover spots. And then when the guy hits down here, then he hits the wood and it knocks him down. So that then it's like,
So he'll
okay, now give me a
disappear.
home run.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so then there's a bunch of, and there's coils and what. So one of the things that is cool, like you can see
Just a bit outside. He tried to corner
that you can see down here, like this, that is the, right here is the female end, sorry, it's dark, of the connector. And I've mentioned this before, like when I was showing off Ringer, that it's
That's just a fingerboard, right?
yeah. So you have like the little pins going, and it's just so cool that like, so it's it's Bakelite that they have with male pins. They physically fit in. In fact, part one of my of the
Restoration
repair
video
was to use a wire brush to clean all the male pins, so that you get good connections on everything. So it was just really cool, and I just wanted to.
Yeah, that thing's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Before I put it back together again, I just wanted to.
I know
show you guys.
it's super unwieldy to hold and spin, but can we see the top?
Yeah.
While you spin it?
And Carrie, you know Johnny Graham, right?
Oh yeah. Donnie
He has
Graham.
fixed 3 slugfests in the past year, so he might have some insight on how to get some of that stuff to work. Yeah.
Cool.
If you want to, reach out. If you don't have his number, let me know. I can shoot it to you. But
Yeah, he and I are friends on Facebook. We go way back.
cool. Well, yeah, you gave him diapers for his daughter.
He owes you.
I don't know how well you
Is
can
it
see
poop?
the 3D.
Is it poop?
How do we get back on poop? Oh yeah, I did.
Really poop?
Where did it come from?
Yes,
How's
it's-
it
That's
taste?
awesome.
Oh yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So that seeing on the top, yeah, that's
Yeah.
So when they
Tells
round
the
the
rest of
bases,
the
they
story.
fall back into the dugout.
yeah, basically, yeah.
I mean, it's kind of fun because it's like when you've played these things, you can, you see the total effect, but you don't actually see how.
Yeah.
They never make it home entirely.
Oh, there we go.
Hmm.
You can actually see
Oh
it.
yeah, yeah. There you go.
That's cool.
That's much better.
Yeah. Yeah, and like you miss some of the 3D effect. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, you're sort of the magician showing how the trick works.
Spoilers. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Very cool.
All right, he's making a home run here. He's coming for the home base.
Oh, he died.
And he
Oh.
slid
the
into
pit.
home. He falls over as he's sliding into home.
He almost made it to home, and then he slept into the depths
Into
of
the
hell.
pit of despair.
Yeah.
So
Into the
anyway,
swamp
yeah.
of sadness.
That's super cool. And I mean, look at the amount of work they did.
It looks
on
so
Rayfield
pristine
to
too.
make that
Yeah.
make that beautiful arc, and that's one piece of wood, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
cool.
Space.
really great craftsmanship and beautiful artwork.
Yeah.
It's like early 70s, you said? Is that
1966.
Oh, 66.
Ah,
Wow.
good year.
Yeah, so this is totally a good year. And these these little guys, these are original on here. I know that you can buy replacements. I have one guy, like my picture's missing a foot, which you can't really probably see too terribly well. There we go.
Oh.
But just the amount of detail.
Oh, yeah.
Into these.
Yeah, they're
Oh,
detailed.
sweet.
No, that's cool.
I'm sure it's all hand painted.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really like that one guy that's sitting in stands.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
The guy in section 100, 2 rows back in row Z,
Yeah.
seat 1.
Anyways, there you go. That was Carrie's EM hangout. Now I can have another.
I like it.
time, so thank
Well, that was very good. No, I like
No, I
it.
hope you get it working again. That's pretty cool. It looks
Yeah,
like,
thank you. It's going to be I think it'll be a long haul because I can tell that it has been worked on before. And so there's definitely like some hacky McHackerson stuff. And like there was a start, like the start switch, somebody disconnected. There's a part that should be there to adjust how strong the batting is. That's been removed. And some toasty parts and things like that. So yeah, it's definitely been worked on, but yeah, hopefully I'll be able to get it going.
Yeah, this is the first time you really got your hands dirty. Like you're really diving into it now.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, it can't just be sitting there anymore. It's a
big footprint.
It's a really big footprint because it's big. Yeah, it's bigger than a regular pinball game. So
It's a big one.
It's like a red 10. The red 10-ish thing.
Big fella.
Yeah. It needs to
So-
earn its keep.
So Gak has more room if he got rid of his red 10. So he could buy that off you, Carrie, and fix it.
Yeah, totally.
It's Slackmo on that
Yeah,
shit.
has you for dibs on it in case you get bored of it and wants to sell it? You know?
Yeah. It right now has at least 40% fewer spiders than it did when I first bought it.
Yeah.
I should say dead spiders. They've been dead for a very long time.
They're like skeletons dead.
Relics.
Oh yeah, and I kept running across more of them last night when I was cleaning that off. Like the little guys had some cobwebs on them and a couple of spider carcasses. I'm like, aw. I wonder how long this has been there because there's a lot of the score reel it's at 0, so it had reset correctly. But you can see the coating of dust on top, which gives it a good indication of how long it's been dead. Like, okay, this is not like it's like it's
Even
not like
the spiders are dusty.
That's
Yuck.
so,
Oh,
Carrie,
man.
you said your score reels kept triggering and incrementing forward.
No, the score motor. So
Oh,
the
score
score,
motor.
yeah. So the motor keeps running. So something's not resetting properly on the game because the score motor's looking
Could be
for
a
all.
bad switch.
Like, because it's all contacts, right?
Right. So yeah,
could
it could be. I
switch
mean,
that's out of whack or too much
yeah,
oxide.
yeah. I mean, there's a ton of things that could be. The next step of it is cleaning all the contacts, to make certain. And so that that's step 2. So step 1 was cleaning the contacts
And that's
of
a
all the
lot of
connectors.
contacts or something like
yeah,
that.
and so now,
it's all
it's all contacts, right?
I know, right? Yeah, I should say I want to call them Molexes, but I guess they're not really Molexes. I don't know, the Bakelite.
It's like leaf
those
switches
long finger ones
everywhere.
are fingerboards.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
WPC connectors or whatever that punch in.
Yeah,
I hate those fuckers.
Yeah, so it's cleaning all the leaves, all those connectors, making certain that everybody's adjusted so that we're looking at the schematics, making certain that there's contact where there's contact, there should be, and there's not where there shouldn't be. I do see in the back of the game where it's really hard to access, some coil that looks like it's just also toasty crispy, not as bad as that coin
I could do it.
meter, but yeah, and that's up in the back. So I'm thinking that might be a culprit, but I'm gonna go with kind of the stages, and I'm just going to be like, okay, I'll be zen and just start cleaning contacts and check the schematics first. Yep, exactly. Like I didn't buy a game. I bought a meditative therapeutic
dust ball.
thing.
There you go.
I bought a spider graveyard. That's what I bought.
That's gonna look nice next to your ringer game or whatever it's called, the one that throws the horseshoes with the spinner.
Something.
It's mechanical, kind of like that.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of that same era. I think. I forgot what Ringer was. 1972, I think.
Is that what it's called, Ringer?
Ringer, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they had 2 that were identical. One was penny. Penny. It was like a penny based one, exactly, both by Williams, both same exact layout. Just different decorations. So my Ringer is horseshoes, and then penny toss or something like that. Pennywise, that's what I want to keep saying. Which would be badass. It was the Ringer is men throwing horseshoes. Penny wise women flicking pennies.
It's a clown eating children.
Have you ever? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, then I have the other one that I'm hoping to pick up this weekend, and I can reveal next week.
Okay, that'll be the big reveal if you get it.
That'll be
teaser.
Have you guys seen that 70s? I think it's after 70s, or maybe it's late 70s, or maybe early 80s. But it's this big flat light board. Think of it sort of like it looks like a pin. You know how a pinball has like the back glass? It's sort of like that, and it has it's very hippie-ish with hippie graphics. But they have it's like a dart game where they throw darts. and it has a whole bunch of arms, and the arms light up from behind on the back glass. So it's like da, 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 da. And you got to release with a button on a controller to release the dart. It goes across the board. Let's see if I can find a picture of it. But I've been keeping my eye out looking for one because I remember playing at my Boys and Girls Club when I was a baby.
That was 5 years ago.
That was last week. Let me see. Classic dart board game. Let me see if I can find the name of it, and I'll post a picture. But it's really old. It wasn't really an arcade though. Well, it might have been able. It looked like something that was probably in a bar or something. I'll see if I can find it.
I'm done.
19...
Yeah. There's a lot of barking going on.
I'm pooped.
15 stolen puppies.
Yeah. I got a neighbor who apparently, like during the windstorms we were having last couple of days, like they've got like an Airbnb in their backyard, and their friend's house had a big branch fall on it, so they're having to do a bunch of repair on their house. Cool. And so they're staying basically in their friend's Airbnb thing in the back of their house. You guys have seen the backyard, so it's the one that's like the weird 70s edition on the. Anyway, they brought along a dog that's very barky. And it's like I walk across my backyard and the dog's like, ah! Ah! And I'm like, dude, I fucking live here. You've seen me a dozen times today.
Small dog?
Yeah.
Mid-size.
Mid-size?
Yeah.
You try introducing yourself to him and...
Well, no, because COVID, and so I'm weird about like, I don't want to be like, touch your dog, and then your dog runs away with like my I don't even know if I have it hidden disease or anything like that. So no, I didn't, felt like disrespectful to do that. But it's like, dude, you literally see me walk across this yard 10 times a day. Why are you attacking me?
Yeah.
Oh, and I fucking live here for the last 12 years.
By the way,
You started here 20 minutes ago.
What do your dogs think?
He doesn't give a shit. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I love about Alfie is like, like walking down the street, like a dog will be like charging the fence, like barking like fucking. He goes,
What are you talking about?
Yeah, like
big dog.
no, I ain't gonna do shit.
Yeah, big dog.
and then he sniffs like on their bushes and then just lifts his leg and then keeps walking. He's like, bitch, I know you can't get through here.
Oh, what's that guy?
I think it's funny that my dogs will
Van Damme.
Yeah.
my dogs will have no problem with the dog next door. Like, oh yeah, no problem. Dog next door. We're inches away from each other's face by the fence. My neighbor walks the dog across, takes him for a walk.
Brand new dog. Yeah.
I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Right.
Like that's
a second. Yeah. So I actually had that same kind of experience. Literally, it was yesterday, the day before. I was walking Alfie, afternoon pee, and like we're walking by, and some dude was in his car with his dog, and we're long past, but all of a sudden he opens the door, the dog charges out, doesn't have a leash. And of course, my initial reaction is, oh great, how's this gonna go?
right.
And the dog runs up, and they're cool. It's like they're doing that, nose to butt, butt to nose kind of thing, and they're circling around each other. And I'm like, it's fine.
Doggy
both tails wagging, no hackles up, everything's fine. And then it's like they got to the thing, did the greeting, and then the owner called him or her, and she's like, come on, let's go inside. She runs into the yard, gets on the other side of the fence, and then charges at us and starts barking.
Yeah,
the fence is still open. She could literally just like walk around the fence back where she just came from and say hi again, but she saw us and then it's like, wait, no, now you're over there. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Why don't you shut up?
I literally just sniffed every part of my dog's privates.
Jim's new favorite sound effect.
Why don't you shut up, bitch?
That's shut up, bitch.
Thanks to Mock for providing that one.
I like that one from Weird Science.
But like when my new neighbors behind me moved in, they have a dog, very nice dog. His name is Jake. If I was doing anything, if I was doing service in my pool, right up to the fence, I could hear thought he was going to come through the fence boards with his claws, just gouge out all the wood and pine chips below. And as soon as I learned the dog's name, I just walked up to the fence, stood on the milk crate, looked over and went, Jake, enough. Stop. And now we're chill. So
awesome.
For Andrew, all you have to do is walk up to the fence and
lay
the hell down on him.
It's hilarious that you're
I
talking
need a
about a
milk
dog
crate.
named Jake, because there's literally one that's on the walk to work from me. And he would bark at me all the time. And I knew him since he was a puppy. But like if I'm walking on the other side of the fence, he barks. And then at one point I was like, fuck it, I'm not walking by the fence anymore. And I stop and I let him sniff me through the fence. And he's like, oh, okay. And so I reach down over the fence and I scratch him in the head. And now the only time, like we're like best buds now. Now the only time he barks at me is if I walk by the fence without scratching him. Now he's like, dude, what the fuck? Where's my shit?
You're in a
on the
contract
ears
now.
and some bellies.
Yeah.
Where are you going?
Oh, that's so funny.
So, and it's hilarious because the dog's name's Jake.
That's awesome.
In all fairness, he does warn me. We have these little starlings, little black and blue birds, and they nest in the shrubbery. And what they do is Jesus, how much longer of a pause did I have to leave? Come on.
We were trying to let you talk, but it was
what those little bastards do is when
And a
it's only in the springtime that they do this. Is they'll have their babies in the nest. The babies will poop. The mom or dad or whatever will pick up the poop, bring it over.
Is it really poop?
Yes, it is really poop. They'll either land on the edge of the pool, drop it, mock us, and then fly off.
What?
Or if we're too present, or if I'm out there with my super soaker or the garden hose, and yes, I brought a super soaker just for the birds, then they'll just fly over the pool, drop it in midair, and then turn around. So we call those flyby shittings.
How's it
Every
taste,
year
motherfucker?
for like a month and a half.
Swoop and poop.
Yeah, a swoop and poop. Every year for a month and a half. But since that dog's been there, it's been a little less because he will scare them and they will not nest in the trees closest to the property line. They'll stay to the higher trees up closer on the other side. So Jake is helping us.
I'm pretty sure there's an EM game in here, Carrie, if you want to rebrand one of these things, dogs chasing after birds or cats or.
All right, I found the Dart game on YouTube. If you
Sweet,
guys
we're just killing time until you
click my link. Click my link in the IRC.
Jesus, what took you so long?
The YouTube. Click the YouTube one.
Here.
It's
Click
right under
my link.
8-Ball Paul.
Is that a metaphor for something? Or
so if you check the YouTube video, you can see it in action. It was just a single button on a box, about I don't know, 8x5-inch little box thing.
Oh, what's in the box?
In the box. But you can see the game work here. How you can see these lit up hands that throw the dart. And you got to release it at the right time. And then there's a mechanical scoreboard like what Carrie has. You hear it clicking.
Huh?
Do you guys seeing that?
There's a lot.
Made by Midway.
This
is just like an image link.
Yeah.
Oh, not that one.
Google
The smaller link.
YouTube.
The smaller link.
The YouTube one.
YouTube link.
YouTube one up.
There we go.
Gotcha.
So you can see it in action. So check out that they used someone either donated or they purchased it. Probably donated to the Boys and Girls Club, and we got to play that. It was they hung it high on the wall so nobody would mess with it. But
clearly, this came out pretty recently, giving their clothing. I mean, what decade could that possibly be?
1970.
You're right. So there was one of these for sale but it was missing a part. I remember seeing it and then looking it up.
Okay.
I've never seen one in real life, IRL.
I like it.
I wonder if it plays the
but it
same
was
for
really
player
cool.
1 versus player 2. I mean,
I know because it's different, right?
It's different.
I want to be Hank.
It's super cool.
I want to be Iggy. I want the hot girls in the middle
I love
there.
the hands. That's awesome.
Isn't that kind of fun?
Yeah, I think the one that I saw was a slightly different theme, but the hands, that's.
And they even let go. The last light is the hand opening up to let go of the.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta go shut my dogs up. I'll be back.
Looks kind of fun though. I'd play it. It's weird. It makes a lot of clicky noises. I don't know if that's the controller that you're hearing.
Oh, it's just no, it's a switches probably. It's just with Ringer.
Oh, I know. It's the score you're hearing.
Oh yeah, yeah, ching 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 ching.
Yeah, pretty neat. So anyway, that's a Midway game. That's an early Midway game.
Carrie's turning into an EM girl. I was
yeah, she's going way back in time.
Yeah.
She's gonna start trading off all her home use only vectors for some other home use only.
Jim, look at this crane game I got. You pick up these old cars. And you throw them in a hopper.
I got 6 machines for selling my reactor.
Exactly.
No.
Mock, this can't be like a hangout night without you having some kind of news to share.
Yeah.
Do I have news?
Well, okay, I'll share one I know of. So now in this, whole
hey,
COVID
Mock,
bullshit.
where's your news? Oh, here.
Yeah, nothing. All right, I got some.
Oh, my news. I know. I didn't do news today. Okay, go ahead, Gact.
Well, to start it off,
I'm wearing some.
so he can start thinking about it. Okay.
Okay.
Sorry, Andrew.
Just making fun, dude.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
So
I do have one.
all
one.
this
Go ahead.
COVID crap going on. Everybody's been shut down. So it was. This is the part I'm not 100% sure on. Either it was yesterday or today. Coin-Op Game Room in Sacramento reopened.
Is that Joe's?
Yeah, Joe works there.
Abate?
Yeah.
And
then
just talked about that.
I think Kevin up in Auburn is within the next week planning on opening too. So slowly it's starting to happen,
Limited people inside, I think.
Yes,
and
I'm sure.
Probably hand sanitizer everywhere.
Yeah.
Desanitize every night. Someone's got to go and wipe the games down.
But that, and that's the weird thing. Everybody hears conflicting stories. I've heard that pretty much nothing gets transmitted by touching things. It's what's in the air.
It's mostly someone breathes on you or something like that.
So if someone has it and touched the joystick and then you touch the joystick after them, it's highly improbable that you would.
Unless you lick your fingers right away.
Probably, yes.
For more information about COVID, please check your local health.
There you go.
How do you play games? mushrooms.
We are not medical advice.
I suck on the door on the knob.
I usually start
It's all-
by
it's
looking
a
at
mouth
my hand,
thing.
then I put it down.
Yes.
I mean, otherwise, how are you supposed to get excited?
Right. Yes.
Okay, so this one, I'm sure Andrew already knows about this, but I was going to bring this up. The Kickstarter is just about finished.
Yep.
You know what I'm going to talk about?
Yep.
Yeah. So our friends we're still waiting on our Dragon's Lairs from New Wave Toys.
Yes, myself included.
They are putting out these ghetto blasters. I forget the names of them. I'm sure Andrew probably knows them more than I do.
Yeah, I know Slick Nick was super excited about them because they did these.
Yeah.
They're doing two
Special,
different
yeah.
sizes. They're doing this. Okay, I went and looked up because I was going to do it, and it's like $60 for. It's basically a USB. No, it's a
Bluetooth
Blu-ray, Bluetooth, looks like
Bluetooth.
Blu-ray,
Yeah.
Bluetooth. It's this damn beer. Blame it on this right here.
Is your dog? Is your
Son of a
you
son of a
still
son of son
working
of a
through your
bitch, son
daughter's
of a bitch.
supply of that, or
No, this is mine.
Son
I
of a
haven't.
bitch.
That's other old stuff.
A gun.
Yeah, you thought I was going to say "son of a bitch." Okay, so, yeah, Bluetooth. Yes, and I did it have a USB thing too, or something? I forget. Yeah, it does because you can charge your phone with it. I remember it says, right?
yes,
Something.
it does have a charger for the phone thing. I don't know if it has like a USB thing to just take USB inputs.
I'm not sure
make
on that.
sound.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I have to look at that.
Yeah.
But that's $60 for that if you want that. Now the other thing, they have a miniature version of it that's like this big, $20. It doesn't really do anything, right? It's just to look at. It's just a cool little boom box if you want a itty bitty one for your stormtrooper to hold under
but it's
his
the same
arm.
scale as the other arcade games. It's
I
built
guess
the same
so. You
scale.
can put it to the side.
So
of
if you
the-
had it like in your arcade that you were building off of the Replitronics stuff, you could like put that in your
Is
arcade.
it, so what is the scale?
Yeah.
Is it 1/6 or 1/12? It's 1/6.
1/6, I think.
Okay.
it's tiny.
Yeah.
So I need to. I started 3D printing and modeling some of my BMX stuff I did like a year ago, and I need to do it like 1/6 scale so I can prop up my bike next to the arcade game.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Be there in the zone, you know.
Yeah, you put it like it's a part of a room, you know. It's in there.
There we go.
The little GI Joe guy in there.
Like a kegerator, I 3D print like to scale, and it like taps beer into a little thimble.
And you put a little
Like-
beer in there.
You're like, I'm getting
You're
hammered
taking
tonight.
sips,
I'm
you're like,
drinking.
do you know how many I've had tonight?
Yes, I've had like 32 of these.
It fucking kills
Get a
me.
little pump on the top of it.
Yeah.
Like tiny little tap.
It shoots out
God
like
damn it.
two,
Pump, pump, pump,
shoots
pump,
out
pump,
3 ounces total.
Yes, exactly.
I'm gonna
That'd
do a
be
cake
fun.
stand.
Yeah. So this,
Perfect.
the boombox, I like the blue speaker version.
Mhm.
If you do the Kickstarter, I think the Kickstarter
Why?
probably
No,
has
why do you like the blue over
5.
the black?
I just thought it was kind of cool looking. I don't know, but it
They
doesn't have
actually,
anything to protect
did
it
them that
though.
way, right? Like the higher end models. had blue
Maybe
speakers,
that was a mod. I don't know.
The felt or whatever that was in the speaker.
It was just
Whatever
it
that
was just
for
without the speaker cover. It looked like, but
Well, I mean, so yeah, no, it is. No. So you're missing the point. So yeah, the cone is what we're talking about. So
The cone,
one
yeah, that's
cone
right.
Yeah.
is colored
Mhm.
black and one cone is colored blue. And it's
no,
just-
no. One's covered, isn't it? Just completely
both-
black.
No. I
No.
think that the covers go on both. They're just
Yeah.
taking one off the blue to show
Oh.
off that the blue has a blue.
Oh, I
cone
didn't know
on
they
it.
came off.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Well, I don't know if they're supposed to come off, but like that's what they were showing off.
Okay,
And I was wondering because I don't know boom boxes that well to say. So I think
I
it's
don't
the
either.
M50 or whatever it is. But like,
Yeah, M50
yeah.
I think it was.
so
I'll see if I,
I
can
don't
find
know
the
if
Kickstarter.
like what the colorways difference is. Like, were the blue ones somehow more desirable, or is that just them being like creative license?
Could be.
Yeah, I know it's
I
supposed
mean,
to be
maybe
taken
the blue
off.
ones were felts and they had a different cone technology for that. Why would you put felt on a cone?
And I'm wondering if
idea.
it might be a mod that people did with their
Could be.
with their boxes or something.
They were very
I don't
popular.
know.
I noticed in the replies, like who were backing like which version, that like it was pretty split evenly between the blacks and the blues. So apparently
Okay.
the blues are like they're doing something right there.
I got the Kickstarter link. It's in the IRC if you guys want to look at it.
Ah, shit. Street Fighter Mike. What's up?
So I was thinking about doing it, but I'm like, I already have like a couple things that shoot sound out of speakers, and I don't know, $60 for that little thing. I don't know. Do I really need it? It's like I'm part of like Fight Club.
you
Do I
might
really
go,
need
like-
this? Is it enrich my
It's a-
life?
It's 100% one of those things where, yeah, no, you don't need it.
I don't need Dragon Slayer
Not-
either, but I love
Right.
Dragon Slayer, so I gotta get that. But boomboxes, I don't have like a connection. I didn't spin on a piece of cardboard and break dance in high school. I had friends that did it, but
Well, and
I-
apparently, like this
that's,
is like
you know.
launching like a collection of these things.
yeah, they're gonna be more. Yeah,
This
that's
is like the
just one.
first.
That's
Yeah.
one of more. You know.
Yeah.
Which I hope they're not expanding out too weirdly. I'd rather see, I don't know, a miniature Tron arcade machine be made or something fun. Someone has been making those with the trigger actually working
Wow.
on a teeny weeny itsy bitsy
Penis.
blue lit
Yoko polka
clear.
dot bikini.
Super easy to break.
Yeah, you just
Yeah.
move it too much and poof.
Yeah. God forbid you squeeze this thing too much. And just
Because that
fucking
kind of
break the-
plastic is very brittle as
Yeah.
it is, you know.
Yeah.
So
So
Yeah.
If it's got to be
Mark,
transparent.
and you
this
may have.
is
I might be jumping the gun here with your stories, but you mentioned Kickstarter. That
Yeah.
made me think of. I think it's also a Kickstarter. Supercade, right?
We talked
the
about
book?
that last week.
Oh, did you-
Oh yeah, we did talk about that.
The
You're
new,
on-
the new,
might have
su-
been
the new
on-
Supercade. Yeah.
Yeah, they just
By
started
Van?
that like a week ago. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm. Yep.
Yeah, I got a post about it in my Facebook thing, and she's
Oh, yeah,
asking
the
everybody
post.
to promote it and stuff. I didn't get the first book, so
I got the
about
first
it.
book, but I can't remember if I bought off Amazon or where I got it.
I got mine out
Oh.
through Amazon at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, it's one of somebody from California, someone part of
Shit.
the big group.
When
and-
did Clint leave? I just realized he was gone.
Clint?
He doesn't usually say goodbye when he goes.
Yeah, he's like a brother.
He was talking about
Yeah.
He
the
left
the
like
game
an
cards
hour
that
ago.
Walter Day was going to do last week, right? Wasn't that what
Right.
he was talking?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, with the
yeah,
games. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
I know, I
Jimbo,
was
yeah, you
trying to
just
think
need
about my pose against the ice machine. Like,
I've seen a handful of them pop up on Facebook already. Like, I don't know. I guess you just pick a machine that he doesn't already have listed, and if he likes your picture, he'll put you on a card or something. I don't.
oh, I'm a shoe in then.
Yeah, there you go. Yes. Have a nice cabinet. Yeah. Oh.
Speaking of heading out, I actually gonna call it a night. Talk to y'all next week.
All right, Leo.
Leo.
Cool.
Thanks
All right.
for joining
Go, Leo.
us, man.
Hey,
Come
stay
back
safe.
anytime.
Thank you. I'll be back.
Sexy haircut.
Yeah, baby.
See you at poker
DIY.
tomorrow. By the way, I didn't go to the last two, Jimbo, so you can't give me any shit.
I know. It's such an easy thing to poke
Yes.
at.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, dude, I was. Were you paying it when I was talking about how fucking
Yeah, the
expensive
last
the
one
last
they
buy-in?
did-
40 or 50 bucks for
Yeah.
buy-in? I'm like, nope, I'm
I
good.
think they did 250s the last two. Last night.
Yeah, I'm like, sorry.
No, Sunday night.
You have deeper pockets than me. That's
Yeah.
big stakes.
What's funny with all that money gone in, you could have bought a Dragon Slayer by now. Or a Street Fighter Mini
Exactly, yeah.
12 inch.
Oh, a mini, yeah. Oh, for Jimbo or for,
yeah, for Jimbo.
Yeah, because you love him so much.
Yeah.
Oh no, I like the last couple times I've broken even, so it's like, and I only play like if I lose $20, then I'm done. Like they'll keep playing, and it's like I'll play one game, and if I don't place, then it's like, all right, I'm good. I'll stick around and entertain you guys and stuff, but I'm not gonna lose more than $20.
The guys
in one
all
day.
love it, by the way, Jimbo, because it's like there's a lot of talking with the Hangout,
Yeah.
But with that,
It gets quiet.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of quiet because people are focusing on their hands and stuff, and then
Doing
the
math.
conversation is a lot less. So when you have the music and the sound effects, it's pretty entertaining. Yeah.
I found just the
Yeah.
right level the last time with playing music. It was like 10% on my end,
And we don't
it
have to
was-
worry about any kind of, like,
people could
royalty
talk
thing.
about it. Yep,
Music.
people could talk over it and stuff, and the sound effects and things like that. Oh, it's so funny because then they'll get to me, like I have to make my play. And Dave's like, you're lacking on the sound effects. I'm fucking trying to concentrate.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, it is a lot of fun, but I can't. Dave wants to play like 3 or 4 times a week, and I just
Yeah,
can't. I
it
can't.
is
I
tough.
can't do it. Yeah, it's fun.
I could
I
probably
enjoy
do
it.
twice, but 3 or 4, that's a little bit much.
It depends on how I'm doing too. Like, yeah, if I don't want to, because here's the thing, and this is a point I was making to Carrie. It's like, this is, $20 whatever. That's all fun and good. But as soon as like you start getting into the bigger stakes like that and stuff, you're talking about like a fair amount of money.
Yeah.
And money with friends never ends.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
now those guys, they're used to it. They do it all the time. But like,
Right.
this is, yeah. I'm used to, like, when I used to play with my friends live, like in person, we would do like $10 and we would, and we would may add a couple of tables. It would last a while. And like most of the time when we play, you know, with Dave and stuff, it lasts what, maybe an hour for a game, maybe
game, yeah,
roughly.
Yep.
So I'm usually good for like 1 or 2 depending on how I'm doing. But beyond that, it's like, man, doing that 2 or 3 times a week, like if I don't place, like shit, your time that adds up really quick.
Yes.
And that's like, if I add it all up, I'm like, shit, that's, you know, if I was doing that every week, especially that $40 and $50 buy-in, assuming I didn't place, it's like, there's my car payment, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Like, is that really fun anymore? Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
With my luck, I'd probably just, whatever the buy-in is, just give it to Dave. Like, I'm not gonna win anything.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I done that joke. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
Angry at you. It's like it was that we were at a fun spot at Nassau, and like,
oh, that's right, yeah.
Poker, and I just like took a 20 and crumpled it up and threw it on the table. I was like, I'm done. Just fucking take my money, because like I'm not gonna. I don't know how to play well, so it's like, yeah. Anyway, Seabart, so the joke, but
that's like going to jail and just bending over and saying, "Just do it, get over with."
It's pretty much, yeah.
So that's all right. So
I'm not calling you daddy, but you know what?
I am starting to learn how people play though. Like the more that, because those guys play together all the time.
Yeah.
And so now, but I'm starting to learn their stuff. Like I'm starting to learn their stuff. Like the last time we played, I felt like I was actually gaining some ground. Like I was because
Ben's the one you got to look out for, aka the Mexican.
Oh, yeah. I think I'm getting him.
He bluffs a lot. Anyways, yeah. So, but
he's also very aggressive. Yeah.
The analogy I can have with you guys is, you know, Jimbo and Andrew is like, you guys playing Street Fighter. Like I could try, but I'm gonna fucking lose every time. You know, like that's the way I feel. Like that's probably how Andrew feels playing poker. You know,
it is. It's like because I know
I feel playing
thing of like
Street Fighter.
You're playing like their style. Like Jim's talking about learning the lore about like sort of basically like the players, understanding how they play, and like this guy's super aggressive, and
he's got tells.
It's one. It's like that's the one benefit.
Like how they bet. And stuff like that. It's like me. I'm like, fuck it. I'll just go in all in on everything.
He's lying if he scratches.
I don't care.
His nose.
But there is some weight behind that though too. But like, I started watching. Poker is a very interesting game. I'm fascinated with it. And the one thing that's different about this is that now we played in a tournament style, so everyone gets the same amount of chips. The buy-in's the same. But one thing that's interesting about it is that it's always the same crew. So there is ground, like you can start, like if you start focusing on, and like one thing I like to do is just like, if I'm out, I like to just watch and watch what the players are doing. But I found a series, what's his name? Daniel Negraru or something like that. He's like one of the top players. He did this, he called it a master class. It's a video series. And it's fascinating. The game is so much deeper than I ever thought. Like I knew it's a deep game, but you take it from like a super pro player, and they're talking about like your position and what and hands and when to do this and this, and it's just like,
yes,
like it's so much to comprehend. But it is a fun game. It's fun and something different, and I do appreciate that it happens regularly. I just can't do it as often as Dave likes. And, yeah. I need to ask him how he sends out mass texts, because when he does whatever he's doing on his phone, I don't know if it's the same for you. I have an Android.
I only receive it like as it was direct from him.
Exactly. That's how I get it.
He sends it to a group of people.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know
what
what
I can think of maybe is I think he has an iPhone, but maybe some of the people in the group don't, and it'll split it out because of that.
Is that what it is? Because it's
probably iMessage.
It's infuriating.
iMessage versus like SMS. So it'll if you've got iMessage, then it'll go out as iMessage. If you don't, then it goes out as a regular message.
Okay, that must be what it is, because like it's irritating a little bit, because if it, like with a lot of frequent mass texts that I get, like big groups, if I know as soon as one message is sent, there's going to be all these replies, I'll just mute it and then I'll come back to it. But with that, I can't, because it could just be like Dave he should be on here because he's got some pickup news too. He just texted me. And so I don't want to mute him because, you know, he might just directly be texting me. So yeah, that must be what it is.
I'll get these texts that say "gentlemen," but it's only from him to me, is what it looks like.
Right?
You know, like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
gentlemen. All right.
Well, thank you. Yeah,
Yes.
you could just say "gentleman," but
Yes.
I forgot to talk about my custom Dig Dug art.
Oh yeah, that's
Oh,
right.
yes.
Yeah, I forgot to bring it in here. When I went to Designer Con, there was this artist I just really liked. Her style of painting was just really cool. So I just had her do some customs for me. I just said, "Hey, I like Dig Dug. Here's some pictures. Just make something." And she made these cute little. You saw them
So
that
she
I posted.
hand painted all those.
Those are all hand painted with
Oh,
acrylic.
wow.
Yeah, and they're just really bright and colorful. That's like all her artwork is. You ever check out Baneth or something? I think she is. But yeah, really cool art, and I gotta hang them in the arcade room. I was gonna do that this weekend, but I got busy with stuff. But I will be putting them somewhere. I don't know where yet.
Did
But,
I
they're
think
pretty
I
cool.
shared, it was probably 2 or 3 years ago.
Let's see if I
I
bring
think
up
I
a
shared
picture.
the pictures with you guys at one of the local pinball get-togethers. It's like a pinball group that does like tournaments every couple weeks. And on this wall's like going towards his bathroom. Yeah, that's really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Get
didn't
to
even
talk to
know
the
that you had that
community.
until Gleek posted on Slack, Maka. And then he's like, what's
Yeah,
up
'cause
with that?
I was gonna just show it on the show, but then I was posting them on Twitter and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, that okay.
Yeah,
That's
they're
why I
about
didn't see
they're
it,
about
'cause I'm not
about yay big or so.
6
I don't know.
inches.
Around.
Yeah, about 5 or 6 inches all around.
Girthy.
Yeah, on wood. So that's why she's
Put on
able
6
to get
inches
the
of wood. Got it.
wood.
She paints
Nice,
directly
yes.
on
It's
wood.
it's because you can get
Okay.
better, stronger lines that way because canvas has all the
Erections.
chunks in it. You know,
I know,
it's
right? But you're not,
pretty
it's-
chunky.
yeah.
But I know I
like
dug
your
them. I like how she highlights with little square lines and stuff. So I thought that would be good
Yeah,
for like a
for sure.
arcade art.
Yeah.
And Dig Dug's cute.
Yeah.
Everybody likes Dig Dug, so and recognizes it.
Another nice thing to decorate your awesome little corner arcade.
My little mini barcade, yes.
Yeah.
I do dig that. That is such a cool little space you got there.
Yeah, we all have
Sure.
cool little spaces, really. You know,
Yeah,
Yeah, they're all
ETA?
and they're all very different. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Do you have the ETA on when you're getting back in there?
Yeah,
Which is basically like a roundabout way of saying, you know,
my
how's your
daughter
doing?
My daughter actually went up and down the stairs once this week, and I was like, yes,
Broke her
it's
other
almost
leg.
time. Yes, yes. So tomorrow she has an appointment with the doctor to check out her leg to see if she can go up and down stairs. If the doctor gives green light, which I think he will, because kids, younger folks that are like in their 20s, their bones heal way faster than us old fogies or me old fogey. So yeah, the doctor even said that was going to happen. So I'm hoping by tomorrow, actually, maybe I'll be able to put her bed back up in her room.
Nice.
And
Awesome.
get my office back and get my arcade back. And I did play some pins on Saturday, which was nice. Oh, speaking of Saturday, I got to ask, how did movie night go? Who went and what did you guys watch? No, I guess we didn't have movie night.
I wasn't able to make it.
I only made little bits of it.
Andrew?
The middle show.
Apparently it happened.
Did it happen?
Yeah.
Yeah, did it happen?
It totally
Okay.
happened.
All right.
It was great. Everyone loved it.
Well, I guess we'll take this offline then.
Probably best.
Yeah.
Sorry I couldn't make it though. Saturdays are tough for me, so I try to make it when I can. I'm like Gak when it comes to that stuff.
I actually just
I make it if I can.
Yeah.
I actually just
try.
changed my I changed my not changed, but upgraded, I guess, my phone plan. So because I didn't have tethering and hotspot enabled, or the ability to do that with my phone. And so like when I go up north, like to Grandpa's cabin and stuff, I get like 4G, but there's no internet or anything up there. So, and I'm up there this weekend. And so if there is a movie night or whatever, I wanted to have that so I could bring my laptop up there and kind of in a ghetto fabulous way, see how that would work. But yeah. Yeah, it was only $5 more a month, but like the way that AT&T's site is set up is just, it's pretty shitty. So anyways,
Could be worse. Could be Comcast.
if they did phone stuff, yeah, or well, you know, cell phones, but yeah, Comcast actually throughout this whole fucking pandemic, they've knock on, I don't have any legit wood around here, but knock on something, they've been pretty good.
Here, I'll
I
do it
haven't
for
had
you.
any internet problems. Nice.
Nice. Good job.
Yeah.
That joke was begging to be made.
Although my power went out. What day was that? 2 days ago? It went out 3 times. And one day, that was the same day that I was replacing the power supply in my computer. How great is that?
Oh,
You were wiping
Yeah.
out the whole grid.
It fucking sucked. That was a pain in the ass.
too much
Yeah.
editing on those videos.
Replacing a computer power supply without removing everything is a fucking pain in the ass. It took me like 2 hours.
Do you have to take the motherboard out, or were you able to
Well,
just
that's what
pop
I'm
her in?
saying. Without removing everything. Yeah.
Shit, even
so
the motherboard.
Well, my tower has a lot of shit in it, and I had to move the liquid cooler out of the way because that the power supply I got like dimensions are bigger than my old one. It was deeper, and I didn't think it was even gonna work. And finally, I was able to figure out how to maneuver it in there. But yeah, it was a pain in the ass.
Is your power supply at top of the cab or on the
No,
bottom?
bottom, and unfortunately that's the only good placement off to the side for my liquid cooler, which is a giant radiator with 220 millimeter fans, one on top and bottom, because if I put it up in the corner of the tower, I have to bend those tubes a lot, and you don't want to do that with a liquid cooler. So anyways, it was a pain in the ass. And then halfway through the installation, my power went out, so I had no light or anything like that. And then everything, it was like one of the days where it's like 90 degrees, you know. So like my AC shuts off, and I'm just like, oh, okay, this sucks. And it's like 8 p.m. So I'm losing daylight too.
There's a riot outside your door.
Dogs and cats everywhere.
Well,
Exactly.
for people that don't
What was
know,
that from?
Jim lives in Minnesota, so he's right in the heart of it.
Yeah, he's
Part
not
of
too
the
far
heat.
from ground zero.
Luckily, yeah, I'm 15 minutes from Minneapolis. Well,
still
technically, depending on where you plug my address in on what website, it may come up as Minneapolis, but I'm about 10 to 15 minutes from where all the major shenanigans are going down.
So you're not having rocks thrown through your balcony window.
No, this is a pretty quiet neighborhood, except for that one night that when Carrie, you remember that out here, where we're watching
that's
watching
right.
a
It
movie,
sounded
and then
like
all of a
some sort
sudden,
domestic incident.
shut the fuck up! It's 11 p.m. and some guy was yelling at
Yeah,
some
you just-
kid or something like that.
Something,
and,
yeah. And there had been
That's
some,
the first and only time I've heard like
Yeah.
Anyone yelling or anything. out
yeah,
here,
and there
'cause
was a
it's
woman.
mostly-
There was a woman, like a wife or significant other, who was like, "Where everybody's going through things right now. You can't yell at kids like that." And she was
Everyone's
like,
scared, and it's a tough time.
Yeah,
and-
exactly. Yeah, she was doing a really good job of talking.
Well, she talked him down because he didn't say
Yeah.
a peep after that.
Yeah, if he did, he was quiet.
Yeah.
We
So
didn't hear
some
it.
little old Russian lady.
This one was probably one of the younger ones. Probably because
Yeah.
half the apartment complex is old Russian people.
At least, yeah.
At least, yeah.
Jim, when you drive around your area, do you see any stores or anything thrashed or anything like that, or is that down further?
Not in my area. I mean,
Okay.
I live in a pretty decent suburb outside of Minneapolis, but but there's definitely been some protests. I I almost
but no
partook
rioting,
in one of
no damage, no nothing.
No, just
because that's the
like not
that
to
does that.
Not to sound, I don't know what you would call it, trite or whatever, but peaceful protesting is all I've seen.
Okay.
Yeah, which is separate.
We've had
yes.
some in our different areas around here, and they've actually sent people home in businesses that are around the area because they don't want people to get caught up in it when they're trying to drive home, and they've already like shut it down or had curfew or whatever like that.
The one big protest was I was getting groceries, and one of the sister suburbs to me. So I'm in Plymouth. One of the sister suburbs is Wayzata / Minnetonka. They're really close together. And when I went from Whole Foods I was going to Byerly's, which is a less I shouldn't say expensive, but it's kind of like it's a bigger chain than Whole Foods, and they have more stuff. So I get a few things from Whole Foods, and I get a lot of the other stuff from Byerly's. Anyways, I go over this overpass, and so it's how do I say this without like, it's kind of a Wonder Bread suburb, if that makes any sense. It's mostly white people. And so there was a big protest going on right at that intersection there. And it was a pretty good protest, lots of kids too and stuff. But it was funny because I had a little bit of time. I got my groceries and everything I agreed with, and I was honking my horn and stuff and sticking thumbs up and whatever. But it was funny because I was having the same conversation with Carrie. I for a brief moment I was like, maybe I'll I've got like an hour or whatever. Maybe I'll just stand out here with these folks. I have my mask and everything. And then I realized that, like, where the fuck do I park? Because there's like no parking anywhere. I'm like, do I are people parking in like one of these lots or something? I didn't see cars anywhere.
Or did they march from somewhere else that they started from?
It could be, but it was just interesting because it's such a Wonder Bread suburb, and it was mostly white folks. Well, I mean,
it describes it well. Not much fiber. Real pale.
Little chewy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Even the crust
no nutritional value at all.
Yeah, exactly.
How's the shelf life though? Does it get
no nutritional value?
Yeah, exactly.
Or what?
Great with peanut butter and jelly. Oh, wait a minute. What are we talking about?
Yeah. So it's there, not a lot of people of color in that.
A little crusty around the edges.
Yeah, a little crusty. Let's keep going with them.
I mean, it was good to see a protest. To see a protest there to
roll it up in a ball.
Yeah. Well, and then all the shit too with
I used to take Wonder Bread and squeeze it really tight, make it into a little ball. Did you guys do that?
Remember that?
It would stay like that, and you eat it.
Yeah, I know.
A big dough ball.
White bread is so sweet.
Yeah. It's sweet and doughy, and you can just squeeze it back into dough again.
Yeah.
Form animals with it.
Come on, you were making boobies and penises out of it.
I didn't hit puberty yet. I was still in the figures and Star Wars and explosions and spaceships. Boobs
So you're making
came after
so you're making Death Stars and lightsabers then.
Boobs came after seeing an airplane and seeing the booby girl run past when everyone's all excited and scared. Was that boobs?
Yeah. You're like, oh my God, I've seen the light.
Mom, let's go see Caddyshack again.
Yeah.
Boobs. Yeah, we had a protest by me down in.
Oh, don't even try, Carrie. I gave up.
Well, I was just gonna say, but that's where Jim and I were talking about the parking thing, because it's like it was down by the harbor, down by me, but it was like they were on so I was like, oh yeah, could I make that? And but like there's all the like, oh, don't park here and don't park there and don't park there and don't walk on this part because we don't want to damage the the cliffs. And so I was like, I don't know where the fuck I'd park. Like I don't know how to get there anymore. And then you combine it with COVID-19, and I've been about social distancing. So I would definitely
people are screaming, so there's a lot of like Misty
I
breaths
mean,
everywhere.
the consensus is basically if you're in a protest or whatever, treat it as if everyone's got COVID.
Yeah, exactly. Like you treat it
Yeah.
as if you've been exposed and.
Ugh.
So I'm in
Quarantine
Sacramento, where the state capital, right?
Yeah.
Or I live near Sacramento, and the governor lives Sacramento, obviously, right? Or wait, what do you call him? I don't know what I'm saying now. I had a triple IPA.
The dude.
Earlier. I had a triple IPA earlier, so that's my excuse.
You're 11%er.
You're right with me, Gak.
Anyways, whoever the fuck the dude is, all these people are mad because of the curfew that was put
that's
on.
Oh yeah.
So there was like literally, I was probably like 1,000 people. They got his home address, and they were all like laying in the street, like on the street, like 1,000 people, just like no one could get in and out of his neighborhood. And it was part of the protest. So like, oh man, all his neighbors just like are pissed off at him. Why did you create this? Like I can't even get to my fucking house.
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, I hadn't even thought about that. What it'd be like if the governor was your neighbor, or these political figures. Yeah.
And he's not like he's in some huge, spread out neighborhood either. It looked kind of like a normal neighborhood to me,
It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood.
Oh, nice.
Beautiful day for a neighbor.
Won't you be mine?
Could you be mine?
Could you be mine?
Oh man. Speaking of other, how about this news?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I was actually contemplating doing a video, like I do with Cobra Kai on it.
Bill and
a little
Ted
trailer,
stuff, yeah.
a little trailer breakdown, and I might I'm a little late on the gun, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, I knew about it. Oh shit! I started. There were already rumors. Keanu Reeves was ready talk, and Alex Winter were talking about this back in like 2011. I want to say already.
Long time ago.
Yeah,
so it's
I
been in
remember
the works
talking
for a
about it on
long
the show long
Yeah,
time ago, saying
they had
we
last
talked
year,
about it.
long
And we said like, what the fuck? How are they gonna do it without George Carlin? And this is like
and I know Alex Winter has talked about trying to get the funding for it. Like
it's mostly been finding a studio. They found a director relatively quickly. I think it was mostly just finding a studio, but yeah. And then I knew I was keeping kind of a little bit of tabs on it, and then I knew that they had finished principal photography and stuff. And that was the last thing that I knew. Originally, they wanted to release it over the summer, but I was actually kind of surprised that in the trailer it still said this summer.
Yeah.
So, which kind of
direct to streaming
implies. Well, I think it's going to be theatrical.
In my area, theaters are opening Friday. But of course, it's going to be spread out, But,
well, and then summer doesn't say much. It could be all the way through like mid-September for all, my guess would be it'd probably be like late August or something, because like Wonder Woman's supposed to be released in August.
They're debating whether to do streaming as well in conjunction, or maybe 2 weeks after. There's all these like movie theaters that are trying to sue the movie studios, because they're like, hey, it's in our contract that we get the movie before it goes to video or streaming. Yeah, we get dibs on it because that's our contract. So the studios are like, well, yeah, but this is COVID, and yeah.
Is it going to be like flights? Are you gonna book your tickets online and select your seat, and it's going to be the middle seats, like everything's going to be X'd out, so it's going to be like
should be every other seat or something, or every
probably
two,
every two, maybe.
It's got to be at least 6 feet. So
yeah.
Well,
me and Carrie were talking about flights, and Sun Country, which used to be Minnesota's
Minnesota airline. Minnesota's hometown airline. That's what it was.
Not anymore. Yeah.
Not anymore. No.
But they've started.
Your pilot's the mechanic and the bartender and everything.
Well, it was okay, but it was just really cute because you get on, you would get on and they'd say, welcome to this is Sun Country, Minnesota's hometown airline. All of our airplanes are named after lakes in Minnesota. Today you're flying on Lake Winnipesaukee, and like their food they had Jimmy John's hamburgers, and they would only sell beer that was from
give you the full experience.
Right, like I listened to it so many times I kind of of got their little spiel down, and they would just sell like local brews and things like that. And yeah, it was really cute. It was a sweet experience, but not.
Surly
Then they got sold to
Fulton, yep.
to I think a Japan-based corporation.
I'm not ready with the cucaracha.
That's yeah. But anyway, I'm sorry I interrupted, but it was just so adorable when it was like all of our planes are named after lakes in Minnesota.
And then they got bought out, and it went to shit. And now, although wait, they're not quite at the level of like United and some.
I have to talk
really
about that,
shitty ones.
Seabart.
But
that's another thing in my
I'm
news. That was my
surprised
rant.
I'm surprised it hasn't come up yet.
But anyways, Sun Country just started. Carrie was telling me that they have now, because up until this point with the pandemic and stuff, a lot of the airlines have reduced the number of available seats on their flights for obvious reasons, for the social distancing, and Sun Country now apparently like they've started to allow all of their seats to be filled.
Mm-hmm.
And but Delta, which is the other major one for us to travel, the other major hub, has it all the way. Did you say September?
Yeah, September. I don't know if it's through September or up to September.
They're still going to omit all the middle seats, so there is that.
Yeah, so I just paid more money to fly on Delta because I would.
Same.
It's worth it not to get COVID-19.
Yeah. Plus, they have a little bit. They have a better service, with the sanitizers and.
Yeah, they do.
So rather than being 6 inches, you're 24 inches away.
Yes, precisely. Yes. I'll take those extra inches.
If you know what I mean.
You do.
But yeah, they like because I flew out to Minnesota on Delta, flew back on Sun Country, and just kind of seeing the difference of like Delta mandated masks. They didn't allow anyone, they've ruled out center aisles, the center seats.
So if you didn't have a mask, would they kick people off, or did everyone just have a mask, or did they provide a mask?
Everybody had one. But I think that they had some. I think they had them available.
When I went to Micro Center to pick up the power supply for my computer, they and I walked in with a mask on, but they actually were offering up masks right up front. And
Costco
in the
near me
checkout
does that. Yeah.
Okay, and in the checkout line, they had boxes you could buy of masks too. I thought it was interesting. So, yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, everybody either has masks or some sort of kerchief to, a scarf, like anything will do.
And if they're not wearing a mask, we boo them off stage. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a bandana tied around my nose and mouth, then I tuck it into my shirt. That's all I do.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I just do this. I just go, up here.
So actually, yesterday when I was at the grocery store, somebody tried to enter without a mask, and they have someone.
It's like Gold Bond.
They should.
But and the guy was basically went out and was like putting his jacket up.
I was thinking more like a fish called Wanda.
Oh, yuck.
Hold on, here's some berry smell.
My wife and I went to Pizza Nova. It's like a pizza place, and obviously
in outer space
like that. Yeah. Nova. Yeah. And what's weird how they have it set up.
My friends call me Nova.
There's only 2 waitresses. Usually it has like 8. And when you go in, you have to have a mask, and you have to order your food, your drink, and if you want a dessert. And everything that you're ever going to want to order, you got to order right there at the front desk. Then they give you a number. You take your number, and then you go sit down, and the seats are like really spread out, where.
Are there mannequins?
No, they don't have mannequins there. I've seen that too on the news. And then they bring your food over, and they hardly ever come over really, because they're trying to do social distancing as well. Everybody's wearing a mask, and we basically ate our food and then requested for a refill on our drink, and then a to-go box, and then you just leave. It's weird because you already paid for it. We left some money on
that would be weird.
Yeah, you just leave some money for a tip
strange.
on the thing.
It's like, you're paying for like the right to eat in public, but
it's almost like you're eating.
You almost don't want to. You should just eat to go.
I should have just taken it home. At that point.
It's like they almost like show up like to-go containers at your table.
Yeah,
you're allowed to eat there, like park, but you don't really
odd.
Yeah,
it's really odd.
It's very strange.
On
I haven't done it,
Friday,
but I've seen it
our
happen.
patios.
I won't do it again for a while.
Yeah.
I just wanted to see what it was
Nice.
like. Yeah. But it's
so,
just a new world we're living in. It's really bizarre. I feel like I'm in a movie, or I slipped
Well,
into a time continuum, into another dimension where
I just got text from my friend saying that
are really fucked up.
volleyball, sand volleyball is the leagues and stuff are resuming in like 2 weeks. Like, I have such fucking mixed feelings about that. Because granted, you're outdoors and you're spaced apart on your team.
Better,
and
but
you're
you still get
but
close.
But you still get like there's
Close
you're going
sometimes,
up to a
especially when
net,
you're both
you're
right
going
up to
to
the net.
block someone
Yeah.
hitting.
Yeah.
And it's like
and they breathe on you.
But then like there's so many levels of mixed
You're gonna give it
feelings
to
in this. It's not
Carrie,
just
and
the
Carrie's gonna
concept
give
of
it to
it,
us through the
but also
show.
the fact that like my friends are all on board with it. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, am I the one that's like kind of reluctant to do this, or
Peer pressure, COVID, peer pressure.
Yeah, peer pressure.
It kind of is. Like, I mean, you can.
And you're
my
all
Jim,
boys.
don't be a puss.
Handling the same.
Don't be a puss.
So
Come
it's
join
like
us.
there.
And my high school guy friends, we do our annual guys camping trip in the summer, and that's scheduled for on the 25th, and everyone's gung-ho about that, and I'm like, me and my buddy Scott, we're both kind of like, I was texting him, I'm like, I have mixed feelings about like doing, like, even because like we scheduled this back in like March, or like before the pandemic, but people are still like, yeah. And now, like people like this whole phase thing, I think there's still, me personally, I think they're going about it too quickly. But with lightening up all the restrictions, because like once you just like let the floodgate open a little bit, people are like, and that's and so like I have all these mixed feelings. It's
Did
really
you see
difficult.
the
No,
pictures
it's
of
gonna
Vegas?
be like the recession thing, where it's like they're complaining or saying like, like the most ideal thing of a recession is that it's a V, right? So it's like we go here, everything's good, and then drips down, and then comes back up, and the economy basically recovers, right? So the worst case, or one of the worst cases, is the W, right? Where it's like
W,
and it drops off, and then it spikes up like really big in the middle, and then you have to deal with that shit, and then it drops off again, and then hopefully it climbs back up again. And it feels like if people don't take it seriously enough to respect this shit, once all this stuff sort of falls back and people try to go back to the way it was before, we're just gonna be right back in the shit again.
I mean, shit.
And when I have to shut everything back down, and this recession will get
and it could even be worse. Yeah, and
could be worse.
Like even when I like this weekend, I'm going up to my grandpa's cabin again, and I did that a couple of weeks ago to hang out with my dad. We were fishing. We were social distancing the whole time. No hugs, nothing. It was like, you're in that boat, I'm in that boat, and it was great. But like then you'd see a pontoon of people across the lake, and like kids and stuff. They don't give a shit. And they're all
packed to fuck on the pontoon, just like
15 people, 20 people on a
pontoon. Did you see the pictures of Vegas with everybody in the casinos and no one's wearing a mask at all? It's like, you fucking idiots.
Well, and this also kind of irks me a little bit too, is that like in the news, the governor and stuff was talking about like how, well, we were quite surprised, with this is like a week after Memorial Day, and about how like the numbers really didn't climb a whole lot after Memorial Day. I'm like, dude, it's a fucking week later. You're not going to get those numbers.
Yeah, you got to wait
immediately.
14 days or so.
Yeah.
And see
You
what
just hit the peak. We're
what the fuck?
We're like on the top of the mountain, and you're already like it's snowing.
And those numbers, they're still going.
We're on Everest, right? We just hit the top of Everest, and then you're stripping down to your fucking bikini and bathing suits to climb the rest of the way down.
Yeah,
it worked that way.
It was kind of heartbreaking because like our governor he was so good up until it was so obvious that like the pressure got to him, and he needs to like start. And it's like he was so methodical and scientific because he's got like, I forget his backgrounds in like mathematics or something. He was very good about the numbers and explaining things. And then now it's just like, where did this come from? Like that you're just going to start like, we're fine with this and this and this. I'm like, yeah. Anyways.
No.
Well, in up here,
we could look at this as like a win-win, right? All right. So let's say we're being alarmist. Right. So in that case, we're being alarmist. We're being overly cautious, as so many of the people are trying to say who really want to get out there and do shit. And we're being alarmist, and we just start taking it a little bit more cautiously. And no one gets sick, right? And yeah, no big deal. It turns out we're alarmists and everything's fine. No one gets sick. We just come off this thing. On the flip side,
yeah,
the wheels fall off the fucking bus, and we don't have to deal with 4 more years of Trump.
Yay!
It's fucking win-win.
Yeah.
Right? Just
14 points. He's below right now.
Silver lining.
14 points, people.
Yeah, we're going to kill off of maybe 1 million or 2 more
He's
people.
lower than any other president that's ever been at this. At 5 minutes out.
Oh shit! Now we got full political. Well, since we're full political, that church stint really fucking shot him in the foot. Both feet.
Yeah, that was dumb.
Yeah. He doesn't even know how to hold a book. He's like, "What's this contraption?
What is this thing anyway?"
Like zap him.
I'm surprised. Yeah, lightning didn't hit him. Someone did this funny animation. You know when he does that, he pretends he's act like a special ed person, where he's like doing this thing.
Right.
Someone did a lightning bolt hitting him and doing this, and they overlaid off and on like a. Like in a chopping mall, like a skeleton where he's like, Have you seen that meme? It was so funny.
I have seen that. Yeah.
I need another drink though. This is getting really juicy.
Okay, I try not to talk about Trump anymore on this show.
Yeah, I know. It was tough. It was inevitable though. We were talking about.
I got some shit from people in our arcade group. Give me shit. I'll tell you guys offline, but I'm like, fuck, that means you're a Trumper. I can't be your friend anymore.
How about we'll shift it back to the news. We talked about let's talk about Bill and Ted though. Did you guys watch the trailer?
Yes, I did.
Yes. Yeah,
and I knew the premise going into it.
Cold. Okay.
Yeah, good for you.
Okay.
I'm one of those I try to.
I'll just say this, Andrew. I won't spoil it, but I'll just say they put some money into the special effects, and I was happy about that. Right?
Cool.
Hey,
now I
actually,
knew
I didn't
premise.
go to the bathroom and get some more to drink. So
yeah, me too. Actually,
talk
can
about
we
all
take
you
a
want.
little?
I'm gonna wait till you get back and talk about it.
Yeah, me too. I'm gonna get another drink though, actually, and I have to pee.
I got one beer left in my
drip.
I got one beer in my cooler left.
Drip.
Oh, nice.
It's good that you have it's kind of like
So Mock, I have that same freaking cooler, except mine is blue.
Yeah.
A little something.
Right. I gotta like play with the little belly button thing here to get it to lock. Right.
Yep. You have to. Yeah. You have to flick the bean a little before you can get it to open up.
I gotta whisper and I gotta whisper.
Yes.
nothing wrong with that.
Oh, poor Carrie.
To tell it you have like $1 million in savings or something, you know.
Oh shit.
It opens right up.
It opens right up for me, and I got boom. Thank you, honey.
I have a $3 million life insurance policy on myself.
Sorry, kids. All you're getting is this cooler can hold 7 cans of beer.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wake up with a pillow on my face, Gak. Stop.
So how does the family feel about the pin? Like, is there any excitement from any?
You're asking me now, okay?
Yeah, I'm asking you.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry, Gak.
Your sons like it? Do they play it?
Yeah. So my younger son Luke he's always harped on me about when I got rid of the last pin. Like,
he liked it.
I think he likes pins more than vids. So
so it's all right.
Right, you did your best.
Yes, I know.
So what pin?
But here's the weird thing, Carrie.
You haven't failed as a parent yet.
When we would go to Pinagogo, we went like 3 years in a row, just me and him. It was like just the two of us, father-son trip.
Yeah.
It was like 2 years in a row. Like they got all these pins, right? And they had 2 like cruising USAs or something, sit-down drivers. That's all he played the whole freaking time.
Shit.
Like, what the hell is this? You know, like. You want pins all the time, and you sit there playing the sit-down racers. You know.
Like, that's too funny. Well, their feet were sore.
What pin did he play that you had that he liked? The old one. What was it?
He kind of played them all the same, I would say.
You didn't have a favorite that he played a lot?
Nah, I wouldn't really say.
Really? Because I have a favorite.
I don't
Carrie
think he
has
got
a favorite. Jim's favorite's Wonka.
Yeah.
I'd have to ask him.
It is right now under the circumstances.
Yeah.
Although I would totally,
Lord of the Rings is Carrie's favorite. Mine's Tron. I can't stop playing that game.
Actually,
It's hard.
Twilight's
honestly, Twilight Zone is my favorite.
Is it?
I would
Okay, that's a good
totally.
game. Yeah.
I think I would totally sell a couple of vids like Gak did to get a monopoly though. I've thought about that too.
Got the bug. You might get that.
Wow. Still, yeah.
No,
you haven't
I
gotten.
still Marvel Madness is going for Super Punch Out. That's the only reason that would go. But I would have to think about what I would consider. Oh, my red tent, right, Gak? I was kidding. No, that's too unique.
Yeah, because you spent so much time restoring all those. It's like, yeah, you got to think about all that.
I had to think about it. It's tough though. Like I think like.
I mean, what about the games you have in storage? You know, like couldn't you like let?
That's what I need to think about. Yeah, but they need some refinements, some touch up before they could get maximum value. Or I guess I could just like unload them as is. I mean, I do have some Konami games.
First key is just if they're fully functioning. Cosmetics.
I've got a fully working Simpsons in storage.
Yeah,
that would fetch something. Yeah,
you get a monopoly maybe with that, the little bit of money.
With a little bit of money on top, yeah, I suppose. I'd be better off restoring that probably, because I could probably get 25 for it if it was restored.
Excuse me, I'll let me mute myself.
Ragweed.
Yeah, I know. Actually, I was just thinking.
Or pollen dander.
I can feel that my allergy meds have just
worn off.
Died out. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I should go get another allergy.
What is your home? Is where the dog is? Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't want to ask the question, but it's like, what does your shirt say?
Yeah. Home is where the dog is.
Harry, you're supposed to say the face is up here.
Yeah,
eyes are right here.
My eyes are up here. Dog is right here. Oh, I'm glad I'm drinking tonight. We got there's Mock. We got
my allergies are hitting me up here. Oh.
What are your
if you're
nasal
do
passages
spoilers.
do there?
Yeah, so spoil. Well, Carrie, did you watch the trailer?
Yeah,
no, I was gonna wait till Andrew gets back and go. And then when Bill kills Ted in that trailer, I was so crazy.
I know.
I can't believe you do that to his best friend.
I can't believe they did a CG George Carlin.
Oh, you got to say that too.
Yeah.
See, they Carrie Fisher Carlin.
No, I knew.
Oh, nice. I like that.
I knew.
Too soon.
I
Come
knew
on,
the
Mom.
premise already because they had
Wars.
released the title. They had released the title of it a long time, quite a while ago, and the premise. And
that's a cool
because
idea.
in interviews they had talked about it. Alex Winter and Keanu Reeves. I did too, and it's perfect. It's a great theme and stuff. And
so
the
are they
trailer
the
looks
executive
good.
producers also?
Yeah,
probably. You know, the sequel is supposed to be titled. It was titled for the longest time till the studios put the kibosh on it, but it was called Bill and Ted Go to Hell. That was the original title of Bill and Ted 2. And the studios went, We're gonna have all the religious groups come after us, and kids won't go see the movie, and parents won't let kids go see the movie. You got to change the title.
I'm
But
so
that was
happy
the
that
title
they
for a
got
long
Bill
time.
Sadler to reprise his role as Death. Like, I'm excited about that.
Oh, that's the same actor?
Oh yeah, that's the same guy.
William Sadler's been in everything. He really
a bunch
has
of stuff. He's
a
cool.
lot of stuff, and so
he's in a lot of Alex Winter. So he's in Freaked. He's the executive who goes, eat shit, redneck.
hey, color me shocked that Keanu Reeves actually shaved his beard off for the movie.
Oh, because of
because he's had that beard forever. Like
since
the
he
John
started doing
Wick
those movies, John Wick movies. Yeah.
Oh, those are fucking good too.
And
I can't
he was
wait for
working
that
on Matrix 4 too. Before COVID hit. He was filming in San Francisco. I remember that. Like right before.
Yeah, Carrie posted.
It
was on local news too. I saw it. Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't go to the BART station I was headed to when my mom and I were walking to BART after visiting my daughter because it was like, oh no, sorry, we're filming.
Yeah.
Move down there.
Crazy.
But the trailer the teaser. It's more of a teaser trailer. It's not.
Kind of.
Yeah,
They showed some stuff.
They showed some stuff. If I do a video, I have a few questions I'm going to pose in there about the future council and stuff. But it does look pretty good.
They put some money into it. Yeah,
they did. I'm glad they had a budget for it. It was worth waiting. Hopefully.
Yeah, now that people have you can do some good effects for less money nowadays. As far as far
The
as
phone
like
booth looked good.
when it comes down, that looked awesome. Yeah, the lightning and everything. Yeah, it looked really cool. They didn't show the strands of time though. I hope they show that the updated version of it. And so I'm sure they will. But
they're gonna convert it to 3D.
3D era. Yeah. I like the makeup where they have the body suits of the muscles. That was
God,
really cool.
and the prison dudes.
Yeah, that looked really funny. I thought that was pretty awesome.
Well, as soon like when they're like, hey, why don't we just go into the future when we've already done it? And I'm like, oh, this sets up so much for bad. Like, that's not gonna work.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like that's not gonna work because you haven't invented like. You like our song? It's a little dark, but hey, it's cool, dude. Yeah. It was just fun to see them being in those roles again. I don't know. It really hit home. And I'm such a fan of the original. Well, no, I hate the But.
So it's gonna be weird because like they're 50 years old and they still haven't come up with their song yet. So there is already there's a plot hole there though, because in the first movie they go to the future and you can see the young versions of them doing the air guitar, and then they're like, oh, we look up to them because they so
and then in the end of Bogus Journey, they're at the very end. They quickly time travel to learn guitar.
Yep.
So that they can play at the big concert that's broadcasted worldwide.
Yeah.
And so they do that. They do the whole thing. And then there's a montage of paper clippings about how they save the world and they unite this and world peace and blah, blah, blah. So this movie, so whatever's happening now has to take place before that happens. So there's got to be, so that's got to be like the timeline. And it's interesting. Like I'm gonna, if I do, I probably will be doing a video. I have to cram this out really quick tomorrow. It'll be hodgepodge together. But at the very beginning of the trailer, the council, the woman, the head of the council or whatever, she's like, 25 years ago, you guys united the world. You played at this big concert and united the universe or the world together. So she says 25 years ago. If she's referring to what happened at the end of Bogus Journey, that'd be 29 years ago because that movie came out in 91. So, but the clip that they show
of the movie, though,
timeline of the movie. No,
they could be different.
It could be different
in reality,
but the clips that they show of them playing in concert, if you pause it, it's the older versions of themselves. It's not the younger versions of themselves, and it's different backup people. So it has to be. So whatever clip they're showing during when she's saying that is a different.
It's probably at the end when they finally do make their song or something. Maybe
that'd be my guess. But you know how trailers can be deceiving.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so
But Alex Winter is like stoked. I'm in a movie, yay!
But he's not a bad act. Like he was in all kinds.
And how
of shit.
could Bill like kill Ted like that? That was awful that he killed him.
Oh my god! And why would they They fucking CGI
George Carlin. That was terrible. Fucking Carrie Fishered him.
Yeah, at the very end.
That was so lame.
It's the very last part of it. Yeah.
George Carlin is like a comedy genius. You don't do that.
Bill
you don't
and Ted are like
him.
What?
Him and
Bill and Ted are like. What is this? And then you see the CG. Then you see CG George Carlin going.
Yeah, I don't want to see George Carlin jumping around with like CGI realistic physics on his ponytail.
Rufus turns around. Rufus turns around and he's like, "It's Hope," with a little weird sparkle in his eye.
Yeah,
the CG added. Cartoon sparkle.
CGI tear.
Yeah. Ding.
So I'm wondering how long you're gonna drag that joke out for.
Yeah. Well, as soon as you laughed, we're like, we need to come up with some stuff. Yeah. We actually did talk. We actually legitimately did talk about the trailer.
Yeah.
And then But so we got that out.
I had to walk the dog, and
it's actually a teaser trailer, so there's not really a lot to talk about.
No, it's like a minute and 20 seconds.
It's short.
the gist of it is that we all agree that it looks interesting and fun and good.
I already want to see it. So
what
I'm
we
already there.
need right now, and
Yeah.
we need that peace song too while they're at it for real.
Yeah, right.
The-
With
you
the-
mean
the
the
giant
one of the best?
Yeah.
You mean one of the best Kiss songs ever? God gave rock and roll to you.
ya. Yeah.
I actually have that song. Yeah, that's.
I've talked about this before, but if you ever watch Bill and Ted Bogus Journey, some of the it's noted for having the worst painted
Matte
matte
paintings?
paintings ever. Yeah, they're really
Like-
bad, especially
like
when
the
they go to
canyon?
heaven. The heaven
Oh,
one's
yeah.
horrible. The canyon's horrible. The heaven one's really bad when they're going up to the temple with the Roman pillars.
I don't
It
know.
looks so bad. It looks
That
like
movie,
a
though,
fifth grader painted it.
I need to get those Blu-rays. I have the DVD combo,
bad.
but I don't.
Yeah.
I don't have the
And
Blu-ray.
then compare that to like Logan's Run, which is like a 1976
whatever.
movie or whatever, where they go up to George. Is it George Washington? No, it's not George. It's Lincoln. They go up to Lincoln at the memorial, and it's all covered with ivy and all shit. And that's all a matte painting. It looks fucking amazing. It looks real because they got a quality painter in there to do the real shit.
There's the matte painting in Nightmare on Elm Street 4 when at the very beginning when what's his name starts with a K Kincaid is in his dream and all the cars are crashing down, they're surrounding him.
Oh, the pull out
and it pulls out. Oh, that is fucking awesome.
Well, they
But-
used real LEDs for the headlights.
lights,
and stuff.
the lights were
yeah,
lit on that
Yeah.
thing.
that's why it made kind of sold it. I
and
think, to
then
make it
then
look
you can
cool.
see in the behind the scenes he just did the one little he just left the one little square
Opening
the
for
frame
him,
out
the
open
live
for
action,
yeah. That was cool. So like yeah, totally like Matt, like what a great job or a like talented job to be a good matte painting artist.
I knew a dude who used to do matte painting.
No
He
shit.
He owned a comic book store. Fuzzy knows him really, really well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to know him. I assume he's still probably in the area, but yeah, like he's an incredible
what a-
artist. It's so cool.
What
He's
a
got a bunch
talented
of stuff in the back of his
job.
comic book store. Like it just shows some of the stuff he's done, and it's like
That stuff, and then the idea of people painting directly onto little tiny 35 millimeter frame, like that stuff blows my mind. Even doing titles like in old movies where they just that's what they did, and it's like
hand printed. Yeah.
Yeah.
oh my god.
There's a really funny matte painting in Flash Gordon, the old the Flash Gordon one with Ming and Lon Seidow, Ming. Yeah, that Flash Gordon. There's a looks down view where they're in the tree top area, and you can totally see the cutout where the matte painting is to look like way down, and the rest is like live action. But it's like the camera's like moving a little bit, so it like comes off of the where the cutout is,
yeah.
so it's like sliding in and out. It's like, oh no, they bumped the camera while they filmed that part. Slightly.
I like the opening. The opening of Gremlins is a pretty good one too. It's pretty good matte painting.
Yeah, they don't do matte paintings anymore, so it's fun to see them in old movies.
Absolutely.
The movie,
especially
that
when you realize what it is.
What it is, yeah. So, does anybody still have Disney Plus?
Still.
Okay. if you have
Right.
I still have it. If you get a chance, watch the very
After
first.
Mock's rant 2 weeks ago, like
Oh,
yeah, right.
Hey,
Drop
when's
our
that segment?
subscription.
Is that,
I never
are we
said
gonna
drop it. I just said I was angry with them.
Is that segment coming up? Are we gonna get?
I
some
do
of
have
that?
something to talk about, but I might save that for next week. But okay, if you ever want to see a movie that has the most matte paintings I've ever seen, oh my god, the first Herbie movie. You know the Herbie, the car that's like alive that like has 54 on the
Volkswagen
side
Beetle.
of it. Yeah, the Beetle, and it does shit, and fucks with people and
54,
stuff.
yeah.
So is it 54? Okay, so
I think it's 54.
it has. I can't believe how many matte paintings are in that film. It's almost every other scene. It's like, oh, that's a matte painting, and they're not even like crisp. Like they're almost like like an oil painting where you can see like streaks in it and shit.
It's like Mary Poppins. It's like Mary Poppins.
Mary
when they go
Poppins.
visit-
It's like
when
that
they go
one.
visit the cartoon land. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that. And but
same
but
color
Herbie
palette,
is
too.
supposed to be. They're not in a fantasy world. They're supposed to be in like I think London in that movie. And just everywhere they go, even when their main garage shop that they're at is a matte painting. It's like every set piece, and the actors are always behind green screens, so it's a matte painting behind them. They're like, hey, we got to go here, and it's like, God, the whole thing was probably filmed on a set.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
It's like early Star the prequels for Star Wars.
Right.
Oh fuck.
Yeah,
Everything's
Lucas learned a lot from that, and they just fucking fucked up the.
So go to Disney Plus, watch the first Herman movie. I think it's just called The Love Bug. I think it's called.
At least Love Bug. Yeah.
Yeah, and just watch how many matte paintings are in that. It's like count them. In fact, that should be a drinking game. Let's do that a movie night. Movie night drinking game.
Matte paintings. Oh, there's one.
That's interesting. Yeah,
that's a matte painting, and then you point it out. Some of them are tricky.
I've never ripped them, but I think I still have all the original Herbie discs. I could put them onto the thing.
I thought you had Disney Plus. No,
I do, but like I don't know if we do that. I guess maybe that works through Discord.
I have Disney minus.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, because I came in late. Mark, what were you saying? How many matte paintings?
Yeah, do you know what matte paintings are?
M-A-T-T-E.
No.
Yeah, M-A-T-T-E.
Oh, I know the word M-A-T-T-E, but I don't know what a matte painting is.
Okay, so in Star Wars where Luke got his arm cut off and he's holding on and he goes, "You're not my father," and then they do this top-down view and it looks like forever behind him. That's like a matte painting. And then what they do is they leave open a little area. So that's where the live action would go. And the rest is a painting that looks like it's forever that goes,
Usually it's always big background.
Big background.
This is practically PB fucking S right here.
Carrie, we were just talking about Nightmare on Elm Street 4. Do you remember in the behind the scenes, the Never Sleep Again documentary for Nightmare on Elm Street 4, they were talking about the scene where Kincaid, where all the cars, like where Freddy kills him at the beginning, all the cars, and it pulls out and shows like the whole world is just cars like surrounding him. That's a matte painting, and they left an opening, so they show in that behind the scenes they show the guy painting this this globe. That's what it is. So that what they can do is they can take the 35 millimeter shot of Kincaid live action, he's looking up,
Freddy Krueger,
and then they can take the camera and they can composite that in, basically lay that in to this giant painting that's around it with this hole for that
a lot of movies do it, and especially like remember in Planet of the Apes where he gets mad that they blew it all to hell, and spoiler alert, there's a Statue of Liberty at the beach.
Actually, Carrie, I've got a really good example. I've got a much better example of this right now.
The shot where you see the entire Statue of Liberty is a matte painting, and they lay that in, but the reverse shot that looks down is actually built. They actually built a scale model of just the points and put the camera there over the shoulder to shoot down at them on the horses. So it's kind of funny that they combined with like realistic, just a piece of it, shoulder and a point. Spaceballs. Yeah.
The toilet paper.
It's just neat to see,
the lunchbox.
Carrie, what we were talking about was the Love Bug, that Disney movie.
Yeah.
That has the most matte paintings I've ever seen in a movie ever, because it's like every shot almost is a matte painting. Guys running, looking for Herbie, the city behind them, matte painting.
I haven't seen that since I was a child.
Yeah. Oh, it's on Disney Plus. So it's like,
Carrie, here's a pristine example of a matte painting contemporary style. Imagine, so like that Andrew, his whole background is his arcade. He's actually not there, right?
What?
Before
Andrew has the matte painting behind him.
Blue screen and green screen were really widespread. Like if Andrew was there was supposed to be like a giant, huge background, they would have actually just painted that. Someone would have actually hand painted that background instead of
look at that nice even lighting.
Yeah. Now what's funny also, if you watch The Black Hole, there's a lot of matte paintings that don't match up with the live action. So the floor has this abrupt change. You can even see the line where
can't see a line. Can you?
Yeah, there's a lot of errors in the matte paintings in Black Hole that are kind of fun to watch. So like even that far shot where they show the control panels and they show people pointing at planets and shit, you can even see the cuts in that to show the live people that's part of the matte, live action of them, the robots pointing to the planets.
Oh, that's creepy, Bart.
Yeah.
There's a lot of scenes. There's a lot of scenes in older movies.
It's like
where
the
like
ghost
a
of
character.
drinkers.
Yeah, there's like a lot of scenes in movies where someone is like supposed to be walking way off into the distance into like a bit like there's a big city or something, and that whole city will be. You'll notice that they will
Painted
never
in.
get quite up to that.
Yeah, like the Wizard of
spot.
Oz is like that when they go into Emerald City.
No,
it's-
Emerald
You
City.
get to
Oh, yeah.
see the
Well,
wall.
The whole
that's-
You see
city.
the line.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
But
they're
I
not
mean that's an
walking-
That's what
example.
that's
They're not
called,
walking
a
into a
matte
matte
painting.
painting. They're literally walking into
See,
a painting.
all that shit
Yeah.
is so charming though because
Ah,
you don't
yeah.
see that anymore. Now everything's so
No.
CG.
Yeah.
It's
They just-
seamless.
They make it perfect.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole end of
Where's the fun in
Endgame
perfection?
is like so perfect, and now it's like green screen extravaganza.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, I mean,
and it kinda trains-
Star Trek. You look
it-
at like the budget for like a sci-fi like TV show like that. Like
Yeah.
anytime you see like a foreign city or like a foreign planet where it's like they show like a vista of some kind,
Yeah.
that's all matte painted. And it's really obvious. And sometimes they'll be clever and they'll do like a day version and a night version.
Oh yeah, they put a filter over it,
And they put like a little bit of like foreground foliage to like give
Real
you
foliage.
something. Yeah, real
Yeah.
foliage, but the background will be matted. But they'll do like
Yeah.
this slow zoom towards like, oh, you're zooming in on a Vulcan city or something like that. And it's like, obviously that's
I have to say though, like I do like Mock was saying, I kind of miss that because I feel like our eyes are trained for CGI now. Like
yeah,
I
a little bit.
back when the matte paints and stuff and like it wasn't like, oh, that's a matte painting or oh, it was like, wow,
depends,
that's
yeah.
mesmerizing. But now it's like, oh yeah, the CGI, like I can like your eye just knows when something is just too smooth or too anime. Like it's getting better. It has obviously gotten better, but
I'll get to the point where it'll be basically impossible to tell.
yeah,
Well, it all
like a
depends on
movie
how
like
much time they
like
have.
Jurassic
Yeah.
Park is a prime example. Like we were
Mhm.
talking about last week about a movie that hit it all perfectly because they combined
But they
everything.
had the huge
That's practical
special effects
with-
studio
yeah.
behind it to make it
Yep.
awesome. So it's not that it's so much. Sometimes it's not so much about budget; it's just time too. So like, yeah, budget, but they want to get it in on time. So if you want to blend those elements together, that takes time to make it look right. You got to have the lighting right
Yep.
and stuff. And then those like Sharknado fucking pieces of shit movies that are
I
tons
think
of
they
like shitty
intentionally,
CG.
yeah.
Yeah, that's almost intentionally because it's funny. Or Birdemic is another one. So that's just it's like they
Almost
could
like
make it look
tongue-in-cheek.
good. They
Yeah.
could make it look good, but on purpose they almost make it look shitty just because that's part of the joke.
Right.
Yeah.
That looks like dog shit.
Yeah, well, like,
Grind
there's
my
also
gears. Here we go.
If you guys watch the behind the scenes or the Stan Winston School video I was talking about last week, the Jurassic Park, they actually just released part 3 today, where they talk about Jurassic Park 3. But they were talking about for the first Jurassic Park, the time that they had to start making the molds and making the animatronic dinosaurs and stuff till screen time, till production was almost a whole year. So they had a
Just
whole
to get it
entire
there.
year
Yeah.
to make these dinosaurs and stuff.
Yeah,
And
Stan
then
Winston Studios,
progressively,
yeah.
yep. And then progressively with the sequels, they learned, because they didn't have to learn how to do this stuff. They had something, they had a little bit less time, but they also had more experience. So it kind of balanced itself out. It's really fascinating. I'm looking forward to watching the part 3 one.
Well, it isn't also
where they-
too about like how like the cinematographer wants to shoot things, and it's like the style basically. Like once that's established, that makes things a lot easier to figure out how to do the shots.
Mhm.
Yeah, one of the big
Storyboards
problems they
helps.
talk about.
Right.
Good fleshed out
everything
storyboard.
was storyboarded, and the
Mhm.
sketches and figuring out the
But
science.
they're
and
already
stuff, but yeah.
established in the previous movies, right? It's like, all right, this is like the epic shot. We need to get a shot like the T-Rex chasing after the Jeep, right? And so
Or-
we're gonna
Yeah, there's
go
certain
for
shots-
those kinds of shots.
Yeah.
So give me something that gives me
look
that
how
kind of
perfect-
emotion.
That perfect shot in Jurassic Park where the T-Rex like is growling and then the sign is like falling behind him. It's so like perfect. You know what I'm talking about? The very last, almost
Yep.
the last shot of the movie.
With that big banner and
The banner.
falls
That's what I'm talking about. The
down.
banner
Yep.
falls down. It's just
Yep.
so like perfect. I'm like, wow, that's so well. It's almost too perfect.
It's so
You
hold.
know?
I mean, that movie is 93 and it still holds up
Still
so
looks
well.
good. Still looks good.
Yeah, I remember watching that, seeing that in theater with my dad
All
and my
right.
sister.
I'm kind of liquored up right now, so I'm just gonna
too.
throw this out there.
I'm drinking this whiskey. This
So
is
Seabart
flavored
reminded me of this like earlier.
Oh,
boy.
okay.
Here
Let's
we
brace
go.
yourself. Oh God!
I'm gonna ask.
10 minutes
Hold
to
on.
11.
Gotta
All right.
strap in here.
All right, real quick. This won't be
Click,
long.
click.
I'm gonna
Go.
actually throw it back at you guys to see how you guys
Oh.
feel about it because it's kind of
oh no!
like something perfect.
You locked up, Mock.
Oh, sorry.
You just for a second, and
That
the
was really
only
funny.
time you've done that tonight. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
wow, weird. Okay, so
You've
it's
been
sort of
censored.
like, oh my god, I got censored
Yeah,
by my own
yeah.
show.
YouTube just stepped in and shut us down.
Like shut that guy up.
Apparently,
Yeah.
yeah, they're in bed with Disney or whatever.
Okay, so
I keep playing that one segment.
so
All right,
I'm
right
gonna ask
from the
you
start.
guys how,
Take
what,
2.
I'm gonna ask you guys what you guys think of this because I'm conflicted. I don't know how to feel.
I don't
about
like
this.
it.
So I'm not gonna
Are
be
we talking
screaming
about-
and stuff, but I do want to hear what you guys think because I'm kind of angry about it, but I kind of understand it at the same time. So remember we talked about the Looney Tunes on HBO streaming coming out, right? I told you about they're making brand new Looney Tunes cartoons. They're making them hyper deformed, and I've actually met the girl who designed the weird deformed characters that are the new Looney Tunes versions, where Daffy Duck's eyes are like crazy and everybody squishes and squashes really crazily, and
Very Japanese.
it looks really kind of fun. Yeah. So here's the thing. How do you guys feel about Elmer Fudd chasing Bugs Bunny around, trying to get him, but no guns at all? Isn't that kind of weird?
Oh, he's
'Cause
gonna
the
try to
whole
kill him with his
concept-
finger.
The whole concept is a hunter getting
Yeah.
a rabbit. That's the whole
Okay,
Very
I'm
quiet
fine.
when hunting
So
rabbit.
in the history of Looney Tunes,
So now all the
has
cartoons
Elmer
have
Fudd
no guns
or
at
Yosemite
all.
Sam ever killed anything with their gun?
No, he just
And
shoots
the
them around. They're like
With their fingers.
anything.
The only damage that they've ever done with their weapons is blowing their own faces off.
Or shooting things that are around the area, like
All right,
Exactly.
so I'm fine. I'm fine with them removing the guns, but only if they replace them with like dildos or something.
Okay.
Penis
I'm
guns.
the cat.
It's kind of weird though. This is the age we're living in. It's just kind of it's I don't know how I feel about that. It's and they don't really show.
Oh, I
these
think
cartoons
so.
anymore.
I think you had like kind of a rant about that before, and then it turned out like there was 2 options. You could watch it with or without the edited, or that what's that the 3x4 aspect. It was something
Oh, I
like
was talking
that.
about the Simpsons on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
Simpsons.
if
We talked
they
about
could
the idea
still-
of doing an adult version versus the kids version.
Yeah,
like
so
Splash.
potentially if they did, yes, there you go. So if they had like a parental control option where like
Turn on and off
if
the
you're
guns.
worried about your kids and it's only those parents that are worried about those kids, they're the ones that would want to do it, then they can select that if they really want to. But then
All right,
the
but-
rest, if they don't want to and they're fine with it, keep it
Yeah.
original,
All right, so I think so what Gak is talking about is actually something that's far more complicated than I was talking about.
Okay.
So my thing is that like, all right, with Splash, using that as the example, is
Hiding the
that
butt.
basically it's like, all right, hide the butt or don't hide the butt. It actually cost them money to hide the butt.
Yeah.
They had to
Yep.
go back in and
Oh
build
yeah,
they had to build the
pay
hair.
a few $100s for that. Yeah,
For someone to do that and recomposite into the film and then redo
export
it.
it
right?
back out.
So
Yeah.
that costs them more money. So to change something that costs them more money. So this is new content.
Yeah, this isn't.
This is brand new. Yeah,
This is brand new
Oh.
content. So this would be like, all right, so we're
they're
not
making
going
new cartoons.
we're not going to
brand
draw
new.
a cartoon with with
Oh,
Elmer
I
Fudd
thought you were
with
saying
a
they're
double barreled
editing
shotgun.
old ones where they
No,
remove
no.
the guns.
No, this is
Okay.
brand new.
HBO streaming is
So-
trying to get people to come to their streaming site, and they're creating brand new Looney Tunes cartoons.
Right.
Sorry,
Without
sorry,
the
Andrew.
classic stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
brand
This
new.
is
But they
not
look
this
great.
is not revisionist history. This is not like Splash. This
They're
is
high quality
Okay.
cartoons too. They're like
Okay, I
24 frames a
misunderstood.
second.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
They look
So,
really good.
My thing
Yeah.
is like just don't tell that old story. Like, why do
Yeah,
you need to
good
tell the
point.
story of Elmer Fudd hunting Bugs Bunny? You could
Yeah.
create conflict in a brand new way,
and a lot
and
of
just
cartoons
don't make
were
it
that
Hunter
way.
versus.
Exactly.
Don't make it. Don't. Well, then fine. Don't redo that cartoon.
Okay, gotcha.
You know,
Yeah.
Because there
Yeah,
are
good
funny
luck
ones
with that.
out there
just
that
do.
didn't have
They
that.
have so many great things
Yeah.
that don't involve
Yeah.
guns, and I agree. We shouldn't be pushing the gun culture thing.
Maybe you're right. Yeah.
Just you've got so much. You've got a an enormous wealth of huge stories you could tell from Looney Tunes stuff. Just don't even tell those stories.
Mhm.
But to retell them in like a fake kind of fucked up new modern way, just skip over those. There's too many amazing Bugs Bunny cartoons that don't have to involve that shit. And you're writing new stories. Just make those characters something different. But it shouldn't be the hunter.
You gotta be clever with it. Like, do you remember like my favorite Looney Tunes cartoon of all time is the one where Daffy Duck, starts doing the cartoon and then he starts getting fucked with by the animator. He keeps changing the background, changes him to a weird creature.
It's the ultimate like fourth wall thing.
It's the best.
That actually happens again in
There's another
little intro animation to at least on our VHS version of the 1989 Batman movie. There's where they're talking about the Warner Brothers Club, and the animator keeps erasing like his necktie and stuff, and all of a sudden he's just a little head, and he's like, "You're despicable." It's really fun.
Yeah.
So it's sort of that idea, but it's
I love
the
that.
first time it was ever done. Though.
Oh,
Think
nice.
about that.
Yeah,
That was like that was groundbreaking. I'm sure. I mean, it's still like really original. And then the great punchline at the end is that's Bugs Bunny is the animator fucking with Daffy.
Right.
Erasing shit.
I do remember that one. Yeah.
It's a great short. If
Huge,
you guys haven't
great
seen
punchline.
I can't remember the name of it. It's like I forget what it's called.
It's called Bugs Bunny is the animator. I'm just kidding.
They zoom out and it's a animation draft table.
No, I mean, it's like
great,
there's so many great concepts they could revisit and play with.
And I don't think that had guns in
with.
it. Is my point. I was
You don't have to make it a gun story.
It was just him fucking with them. How about when the film moves and Daffy's up here and the other Daffy's over here, and there's like, hey, what are you doing down there? Because it's like a film strip.
Which cartoon was the one where like I think it was like a sheep and a wolf or something, like they're always
they punched in and punched out.
And Wile E. Coyote.
Yes, and it's like end of the workday, and they're like, all right, have a good night, we'll see you tomorrow.
They're friends like off the clock.
They're like trying to kill.
It was Sam
trying to kill each other during the shift.
It totally reminded me of when I was a public defender and would work with the DAs and the cops, and it's like, you're in for some of them we really didn't get along, but for most of them it was like, okay, hey, how's the family doing?
It's like way different when
then
you're
you punch in and you're a different creature.
Fuck you,
asshole.
But again, hilarious concept. It doesn't have to do with the guns necessarily.
One of my favorite Bugs Bunny ones is I think it's called Hot Cross Bunny, and it's where a doctor is wants to run some experiments on Bugs Bunny.
Oh, the red monster?
He's getting treated real well and stuff, and Bugs Bunny thinks he's like royalty and stuff. And they bring him out into this big like theater, which is Bugs Bunny thinks he's out on stage, but it's really like just like an operating theater, where all these students and stuff. And the doctor wants to try to transplant a chicken's brain into Bugs Bunny, and he realizes it, and he goes on this big chase, and they're in this big lab, and they're chasing each other around this lab, and Bugs Bunny starts taking all these like chemicals, and he mixes them all together, and he's like, hold it right there, if you come any closer I'm gonna dose you with it. And he starts listing off all the ingredients, and the doctor's like, that's a chocolate milkshake or something like that. And then he drinks it. Bugs Bunny drinks it, like, yum, yum. I'm a better doctor than I thought, or chemist than I thought. And he goes, anyways, he's trying to perform in front of all before he realizes it's a big, like, operation. He's trying to perform in front of all these like wannabe surgeons and stuff. And he's like doing all these skits. It's really funny. I like it.
Wow.
Hot Crust Bunny. I just looked it up.
Well, Jim, I found that where they're punching in, punching out there. That last link I put in chat.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think that's a good point you made, Andrew. That they can be clever and not have to resort to. I am gonna miss bombs being given to Yosemite Sam and it blows up in his face.
Sure.
And those
there's some basic gags that that are like. They're like Three Stooges kind of gags, like physical humor. But and some of the physical humor is going to have to be figured out to be something maybe a little bit different. Because, Duck
my favorite. That's it, Necros. You're right. That's the name of it.
My favorite Looney Tunes cartoons by far are the Roadrunner, Wile E. Coyote.
Oh, really?
Those are my absolute favorite. I just love the mechanics that comes up, the Acme thing. That's like
exactly
huge to me.
Yeah.
And every time the
Paints a
fucking
tunnel.
coyote goes off a cliff, and then
it's like
and
this
then
long fall that
makes
like
a little
scales them down, and
at the
A
end.
little poof of like the smoke.
the poof
By
of
the way,
smoke.
Poof
the
at
entire
the
entire episode I was talking about is on Daily Motion. I just posted
Yeah.
a link. You can watch the whole entire episode.
And part of it for me was as a kid figuring out how the coyote's thing was gonna fuck up. Like, I would be like sitting there like going, "Oh no, he's
He's got rocket-powered roller skates."
Yeah.
It's not gonna go well. But, like trying to figure out like how it's not.
How's this gonna go wrong?
And you know, the times I would get it right, I'd be like, "Yes, look, I totally figured it out." And times they would get it, I would get it wrong, and they would do it in a totally different way. I'd be like, "Oh my god, my."
That's a good example of something that's way better, infinitely better than Tom and Jerry, but it's the same premise.
Similar, yeah, very similar.
Very
I like
similar,
Tom and Jerry
yeah.
too.
Yeah,
certain episodes,
Where
certain
else
eras
can
of
someone
Tom and
paint a
Jerry I
tunnel?
liked. Yeah.
Actually,
Paint a tunnel and then
some
hop
of the
back
70s
into it.
episodes in the space with Tom and Jerry as the robots.
Oh,
I
yeah,
fucking
that's
love
right.
some of those too. Those are some of my
Dickie Mo,
favorites. Yeah.
Dickie Mo. Remember that one? It was Moby Dick.
And actually, one of my favorite Tom and Jerry episodes is the one with the white mouse. That's like the dangerous mouse that escaped from the lab.
Oh, it's like really strong or
It
something.
could it could explode.
Oh, oh, he paints himself in
And so
in
yeah, at the
flour.
end, like
Yeah,
like Jerry figures out that Tom's afraid of white mice, so he paints himself white.
Yeah.
And then he's scaring Tom to fuck him up. And at the end, Tom figures out
nice
that like it's just Jerry fucking with him.
Yeah,
and
he-
it's
and it
not
comes-
this dangerous
It
mouse.
comes off the
And
paint
it's
or
one of the
whatever,
few
yeah.
episodes where Tom speaks, because at the end, like Jerry's like got a hammer, and he's like trying to scare Tom, like I'm gonna hit myself with a hammer, I'm gonna blow up and kill everybody, and then he hits himself with a hammer, and Jerry's like, and Tom's like, yeah, hit yourself again. He hits himself again, and he passes out. But then at the end of it, the real mouse shows up.
Oh,
and Tom's like, oh yeah.
Oh no! And he
It's
hits
just
him.
Jerry again. And he hammers him and it fucking blows up just like it was supposed to be. And it's like Hiroshima. Like everything's in fucking devastation. And then Tom, in one of the few times he ever speaks, he goes, "Don't you believe it?"
Oh yeah, yeah.
When the radio says, "Oh, the escaped mouse is like not actually dangerous," and it's
I
all
do
just
remember that.
fine," and, yeah, and Tom said, "Don't you believe
That's
it?"
a trip.
Huh.
Did you see the one where they were so depressed?
Everybody knows the
Yeah, it's totally. It's like a Leonard.
Yeah.
It's like a Leonard Cohen voice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm watching this. I got it. Like it's not even 5-minute long short, and I'm already laughing. I forgot about this bit. I quote this all the time with my dad, and I forgot where it came from. Where the doctor's like, "Stick out your tongue. I want to see if it's coated." And he sticks out his tongue, and it's got like a jacket on it. He's like, "And 2 pairs of pants." Meh, meh.
That humor never dies. That's fucking brilliant. A
Yeah.
little play on words. That's
You guys gotta watch it. I posted the
Amazing.
link. Watch it when we're done. It's only 5 minutes. But like Carrie said, 1948. But you're right,
Wow,
timeless.
yeah.
It's like that's why me and my dad watch Stooges, Laurel and Hardy, and Marx Brothers to this day, all the
Yeah.
time. It's
Yeah.
other than some political humor, it's timeless.
sure.
I gotta go relocate to downstairs because my wife wants to go to bed.
Oh,
So-
Ma, quit dinging your bell.
I'll be right back.
All right.
Hold on. I'll still be here. I'm just gonna mute myself in my.
I'm just gonna mute myself.
Well, I'll be the yuck.
Oh
the
wait,
yummer.
here it is.
Here we go.
And 2 pair of pants, Doc.
It's so stupid, but it makes me laugh.
I used to get so frustrated with the Roadrunner cartoons. I actually hated them because inevitably because
The
Roadrunner-
coyote would never win.
right, the Roadrunners seemed like
Yeah.
a fucking prick, and I just
Yeah.
it's like I
I hated the Roadrunner.
hated him so
I
much.
love Wile E. Coyote.
Right, exactly. And like the parts that you talk about
So-
were very clever, but the frustration level for
Yeah.
me outweighed the enjoyment of like the cleverness and how is he going to fall and
Yeah.
all this stuff with Acme like that was fun, but the fact he never won.
Did
It
you see the
just-
episode where he does win? He catches
It-
him.
it-
All right, so
I-
there's
yeah, I
an
think
amazing...
I vaguely remember it, but it's, like
the-
I haven't
the
watched
tail
it
end
since I
is
was a
Sounds
kid.
like a
is actually
hack.
very
Which
the
has
tail
been
end
like,
is very
yeah,
simple,
15
right?
years.
So there's a point where like the the Roadrunner runs into a pipe, and it gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, right? And so they both go chasing into the pipe, and they pop out the other end, and they're both tiny, right? And so then they both realize that they're like little miniature versions of themselves. So they'd run them back through the same pipe, which gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then at the other end of the pipe, the Roadrunner is gigantic, but the Coyote still pops out small.
Yeah.
And he realizes he's got him. And so he grabs onto his little tiny toe, and the Roadrunner looks down at him and goes, and he's got the meep, right? But it's like a fucking Mack truck. It's like, burp, burp. And the Coyote holds up a little sign, because of course they don't talk. And he says, like, you always wanted me to catch him.
Oh,
a new sign, he says, now what? No, he does actually catch him in one episode.
But when he wins, he still loses.
I know, but that's
There
the
is-
comedy. It keeps,
No, there-
keeps the story going.
There is
Yeah,
an animated one where the Wile E. Coyote explains why he likes Roadrunner, and he has like a chart and he points to different parts of his body.
Yeah, when he's got like the gremlin smart guy voice.
Yeah, and he's talking. He's like, "This tastes like like tutti frutti, and this tastes like chocolate." And
Oh, like the Gremlins 2 smart one?
The Gremlin 2, yeah. The Gremlins 2,
yeah.
Where he talks.
Oh,
he's like,
and he sings
Smart
at the end.
Yeah, and he sings like New York at the end.
Yeah.
So which
Yeah,
one was the
that's-
one where like there was
Tony
a-
Randall did that voice.
Yeah,
Which one was the one where there was like a black
Oh,
cat that
interesting.
walks underneath like a paintbrush and has a white
The Pepe Le
stripe?
Pew.
Pepe Le
There
Pew,
we
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
And the skunk is
Come
just
at me,
infatuated with the
yeah.
cat.
Yeah. Oh, this beautiful skunk, but it's a cat.
Very-
She's like
Yes.
terrified of him, and he
He's only got
rapey.
big eyes.
He gets a
She's
little
like,
bit rapey.
"Ah!"
He gets a lot of it rapey,
A
actually.
lot of
Yes.
rape.
Yeah, actually.
It doesn't fly
A little
today. Like
uncomfortable.
He's like, oh, mon chéri.
he's not trying to kiss her and
Yeah.
grabbing her and
Yeah.
groping her. He's all being
Yeah.
gross.
Teaching young,
pervy.
teaching young men.
He's a groper.
Yes.
He's a groper.
He's groping.
Did you ever see the Tex Avery cartoons are pretty funny too, where
Mhm.
the cat has a throw your voice meow meow. The dog keeps getting like thrashed. Oh, I don't know.
I
Oh,
vaguely
poor
remember that. Yeah.
Dogs always get the bitter end of the like
I
in
know.
any
They do,
cartoon. They
yeah.
always got the shaft.
Dogs are the dumb
Right,
ones. Cats are
Yeah.
usually the smarter ones, but yeah.
Hmm.
Unless they're chasing a mouse.
So
then the mouse is the
was
smart one.
Foghorn Leghorn inappropriate? I don't know.
No, not too
Well,
bad. He's just a southern.
Not by a
He
character.
said, I say, confounded boy, that kind
Yeah.
of thing, you know.
Come on, Jim, you got a soundbite for that. Yeah.
There we go. Yeah.
Give him that.
idea? Don't stand there gawking, son. Speak up.
He's like a southern.
Oh, I was ready.
The way
Mom.
I always
Yeah.
took him as being like a southern gentleman kind of character.
Yeah.
Like not like a racist southern kind of something.
Yeah,
Just-
agreed.
You know,
Just a kind of a little
They-
bit dumb.
he wasn't a black
They
crow.
could have yeah, they
No.
could have made him into a Minnesotan, and he just had a a really deep Minnesota.
charming.
I say.
Oh, you betcha, boy!
Oh.
Don't you know? I'm
Wow.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So what would be the Minnesota cartoon? Like what animal would he have been, or she?
Good
have
point.
been?
Yeah, it wouldn't have been a rooster. It would have.
Yeah. What would have been the animal? Like what's a classic animal from cows?
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, could have been like I suppose maybe like a beaver or muskrat, or I mean, like I'm trying to think of like an ant, like nothing that's like typical, like your standard.
Mhm.
I mean, our state bird is a loon, but that would have been weird. You wouldn't have had a loon. That would have fit too well into the Looney Tune.
It would have been loony. Yeah, it would have been
Yeah.
goofy.
You know, I could understand in the Roadrunner Coyote cartoons because I was thinking about this while I was coming down the stairs, and you guys, like Carrie was saying, "Fuck the Roadrunner."
100%.
I did,
It's so
and again, I agree.
frustrating.
yeah, I didn't understand
Yeah.
as a kid how come when the coyote paints like the tunnel like on a wall, and like why could the Roadrunner run
Roadrunner
through
go
it?
through
Yeah.
But the coyote could try it and he wouldn't. I'm like, why is that fair in cartoon logic?
It's,
That he can do it and you
it's
can't.
not. It's the
Yeah.
rules of cartoon because
Yeah.
it's the rules of
Right.
it's the rules of comedy.
As a,
I think that was it. It's like
as a
everything
kid, I'm
is just so
confused.
so stacked against the coyote, and of course coyotes
Always.
are more like dogs.
Yeah.
So of course I was already naturally like I prefer these over a bird anyway. I had a bird and a dog, but the dog. That it made it so frustrating, and I had trouble enjoying it, and I
Yeah.
didn't find it funny.
There
I wasn't
is-
laughing.
I mean,
during it,
No,
whereas like
yeah.
in Bugs Bunny, there were. You know, it was,
I don't
it
even
would be
know.
humor.
In like nature, is that truly like the predator and prey?
A coyote eats everything.
Coyote eat
yeah,
anything,
probably.
yeah.
Yeah, anything he gets
Okay.
hands on.
Yeah.
And roadrunners are fast, so it's probably hard for any creature to get a roadrunner if it's running.
Yeah, but
Gotta catch up. when it's
roadrunners
eating.
don't really exist too commonly around where coyotes are.
I would think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're in the desert. Coyotes are in the desert sometimes.
Coyotes definitely
coyotes are
desert.
all over the place.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're everywhere. Yeah.
They're
They're
just,
everywhere.
yeah.
There is
Cat or
one
dog.
episode I saw where the coyote does catch the roadrunner for a moment, unless you guys were
Were
Is that
they
what
going
Andrew
through
was
some
talking
small
about?
pipes?
It might have been no, maybe it's a different one then. Okay, maybe it's two
Oh, nice,
times.
nice cat.
Do you remember this one, Andrew, where the coyote builds like a giant robot,
Oh.
and then the robot of the coyote, and it waits for the roadrunner to come around the corner and down the road, and then the robot grabs him and actually grabs him and hold him in his hand, and he puts him right to the robot's face. And then the roadrunner does something to get away, but he actually held him in his hand. I was like, oh, he finally caught him for a second.
I don't remember that one specifically.
Yeah, it's one of the newer ones that they made with the
Oh.
what was that artist that made everybody have eyelashes? Remember that one I'm talking about?
I know the
And-
design
and-
you're talking about.
Yeah,
They call
there's
the
a certain
Animatrix or
no,
something.
there's a certain
Tentacle
animator that took over Looney Tunes cartoons later on. Jim David, no,
Not Jim Davis. That was
that's
Garfield.
That's Garfield.
Peanuts?
Yeah, it's I can't remember his name right
Oh,
now.
it's-
But all his
oh,
character designs, everybody had long eyelashes. Bugs Bunny does, Porky Pig does. Everybody has really long eyelashes. I'll show you an example. I'll go on
Yeah.
the web.
Well, you pulled it up. I just have to say, so at least according to the dark web, we're gonna have to burst a little bubble here because apparently roadrunners can run twice as fast as, or coyotes can run twice as fast as roadrunners.
Ah.
Who, yeah, so roadrunners pop
I'm
out at
not
20
hearing
miles.
it. I'm not hearing it.
You're,
Fake news.
That's okay. I know you're not. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're totally. Yeah.
My life's not worth living now.
Roadrunners.
I'm gonna jump off my balcony, which is
20
like not
miles
even a
per
story.
hour. But coyotes, because I was like,
You'd break a leg, Jim. Maybe.
yeah, it's 40 miles an hour.
Not even.
Yes.
So
You know, it's less funny. So who cares?
yeah, fair enough.
It's just it's a comedy premise, whatever.
Oh yeah, no, I know.
And in that world of comedy, yeah, it's funnier.
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah, and it wouldn't be like you wouldn't have a roadrunner chasing a coyote anyway,
right.
right? Like that actually wouldn't feel good because
That boy's just like a tattoo.
like the coyote would just
Gets
kill the
under your
roadrunner.
skin.
Right. Yeah, that would be a really short cartoon. They're just
bloody
really short and
feathers
violent
everywhere.
and then they wouldn't have a sequel.
Pretty much.
No, Wile E. Coyote was my favorite character of the two. I did not like the Roadrunner. So just to be 100% clear about that. I was
Okay.
always
He was
rooting
a
for the
little
Coyote.
You're on
one-dimensional.
team. You're on the right. You're on team.
I'm on Team Wolf.
Coyote. Team Wolf. Yeah.
Teen Wolf,
And
nice.
I used to love, but Gak, to your point, what you brought up earlier, I used to love those sheepdog.
Yeah.
Like that was just, I loved those. Those were one of my favorite Looney Tunes, and I still would have referred to that for years after that. Like, you remember that cartoon? Where-
Team Wolf, not Teen
Team
Wolf.
Wolf. Yeah, exactly.
A keg
of beer.
And these. Is it lupus? Oh no. I was looking at Crush Arcade. It made me think of Seinfeld when Costanza is like, you have a little discoloration on your lower lip. Is it lupus? I have a whole entire list I've been working on of more sounds to add to my library, mostly from movies. I have about 12 new Caddyshack sound bites that Dave will be really excited about. Yeah, a bunch more that, because I could totally keep up already as it is with the library I've got, but after playing some, I want some from Major League. Just a bit outside.
Kill the rabbits. Kill the rabbits. Remember that one?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm talking about. Where they have
one of
long
the
highlights.
operas.
The
Right,
opera
yeah,
ones,
their use of classical music when you go back and
Chuck
look at
Jones,
it,
that's
and,
it,
and
Chuck
there's been
Jones.
like some orchestras have
director.
done,
Mhm.
yeah, where they've been like live
Yeah.
orchestras and played Looney Tunes
Mm.
cartoons in the background, and it's
Almost everything done by Carl Starling.
ah,
So he did the stuff basically forever. Like almost all of Looney Tunes stuff is composed by Carl Starling, and it's all original, and it's fucking amazing. I sent Mock, I think.
Oh,
the link
here you go, Mock.
to some of Carl Starling's. He's got 2 CDs you can buy on. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Flight of the Valkyries.
Yeah.
By the Valkyries, yeah.
Yep. So Carl Starling has 2 CDs you can buy, which is nothing but Looney Tunes stuff. And the great part about listening to it is that, like, you listen to it and you hear stuff like do 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 do.
Oh yeah, the sound effects.
Fucking know someone's going up and down the stairs.
I listened to that, Andrew.
It's like,
oh, that's awesome.
it's amazing. It's like you can almost see the cartoon played out in your head just by
Of what's going on. Yeah.
Foley
orchestration.
artists are exactly
I played the
what they should be. They're
times
artists.
on your collection on
Yeah.
Plex. Yeah.
It's super fun. It's amazing. He does a bunch of stuff that's like actually you hear him in the studio where they go
It feels
run
like you're
back
watching
things.
it in your head like a radio show. or
There's
something.
there was a movie done. Oh, geez, it was probably at least a decade, maybe 20 years ago. It was supposed to be. It's not a documentary. It was like a. What do you call the movies that are like of the or based on a true story? Like it was supposed to be of the Three
Boring.
Stooges. Well, that could be, yeah. It was a movie. It was a movie basically done on the lives of the Three Stooges.
Sounds like a documentary.
But it's not a documentary because there were actors that were portraying.
Oh,
them.
it's like a sort of like a fictional documentary or fictional.
It was, but
historical.
Anyways, it was a really well done movie, and it was about the lives of the Three Stooges and how they came to be, how they got their how they got their gig and stuff. It was very accurate. But one of the parts of the movie that was really interesting was when they got off of vaudeville, and they started doing their own short films, and one of the big changes was that they didn't have to hit each other as hard because they're not on stage. It's not a theater performance. So instead of like really slapping someone across the face, now they had a Foley artist that could just add a sound effect.
Oh yeah,
and
the
it just
slap
changed
sounds are
everything.
great. Yeah,
and
Whap.
But but you think about nothing intrigues me more than when I watch something behind the scenes, especially there's plenty of Star Wars stuff where they're talking about the Foley artists coming up with how do we make this laser blast sound, and they're striking a chord on a telephone wire or something.
That part's amazing.
Yeah.
But it's just amazing. Like, how do you come up with that or think about what? How do you
just go around the world with a microphone and you just like
sound
do
people?
Stuff.
They're always looking for sound.
Yeah. I mean, like if I were in like the industry, like I would want to be a Foley artist. Like that just is so interesting.
How amazing! Like it's so interesting
playing with shit and just playing with sound.
That's what you do as a sound person. Like, did you ever see the sound guy talking about like the movie The Incredibles, the Pixar movie, where those saucer things that have blades are chasing the fast running kid? Someone took some like cutting knives and scraped them together.
Right.
Make the sound like blades, like shushing.
Well, there's a really
kind of cool.
There's that.
They're creating their own libraries.
Yeah. Or Aliens.
There's that episode of
elephant.
Hey guys, so it's gone past 2 a.m. my time.
Shut up.
I have shit to do tomorrow. I have a pool that just took a giant shit on me about an hour ago. So
you got a shit
go
pool.
Swimming first thing in the morning. Who cares?
You're gonna swim through
because
shit.
I have to go vacuum that crap out and then replace the sand filter, which is going to be an hour and a half.
At noon. You're done at 1:30.
The pool place opens at 8 o'clock in the morning, so I have to go get a new filter and at least 5 or 6 bags. I want to avoid the line.
It's probably a Baby Ruth.
That's right. Oh, nice.
No,
yeah, there you go.
no.
Bottom.
Unless it's a $300 Baby Ruth with about another
might be
$50.
Like jack up your rates, just like around your clients and throw a Baby Ruth over the fence.
Yeah.
my own pool.
They all clear out.
And my own, it's a pool that's been in the backyard since 2001. So yeah, that thing.
All right, Seabark, good night.
My son filled the shit, and it's gonna be one of these days tomorrow. Oh,
right.
sorry.
All right.
After
We
I do this,
understand.
I can't use two fingers. All right.
Yeah.
See you
Let us
guys.
know how it goes
All
on
right.
Slack.
Oh, send me photos.
Yeah.
Apparently, Seabar didn't watch Bugs Bunny.
No.
Yeah,
Right. He's
no.
like,
Yeah, we weren't talking
boring.
about
Daddy
dogs,
Shack.
so he's like, I'm out. Yeah, I had a
Yeah.
pet once.
Yeah. oh, stop.
Yeah, I'm done. Shit, what was I talking about before he said he had to go? I was gonna say something. What were we talking about? Oh, Foley artists and stuff
Foley
like
art.
that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, that shit is so interesting though. Like, it just blows my mind how they come up with that stuff.
Yeah.
But seriously, like looking at the making of the old, like the old radio shows back in whatever the 40s.
Yeah,
or
the
so,
Shadow.
Where,
Shadow.
where it's live.
Little
Yep.
Annie
Oh,
Orphan.
yeah.
And there,
Little
and there's
Orphan
some
Annie.
dude, you like,
Yeah.
like
sitting there with just like basically a table full of shit.
Oh,
He
that's
just
what I
makes
was
it
gonna
up.
say.
Yeah.
Sound effects
That's what I was
shit.
gonna say.
like how
Yeah.
fun and
The,
how cool is that?
Super fun.
The Simpsons Treehouse of Horror. It was a later one where they were doing a play on the War of the Worlds broadcast.
Mhm.
And it's like, and the guy's like on the microphone, and now the aliens are coming out, and there's a horse running by, and the thunderstorm's coming, and the guy the Foley artist holds up a sign. He's like, "Fuck you" or something. He's like, "Eat me" or something. It's so funny. It's like, go to hell.
He doesn't have
Yeah.
a sound effect for that.
Because
too much at the same time.
They build up to it. So like he's
Oh,
doing
yeah.
he's doing it starts out with like one sound, like, you know,
I
and
think
then
he's
two
got too many
sounds and three
sounds he's
sounds.
trying to
Yeah.
do.
And then he's like,
Yeah.
and now the storm's coming and the aliens are coming out and the tentacles, and you know, it's like all these like 10 things are happening, and he's like, fuck off, or whatever he
Yeah.
holds up the sign.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
It's
Yeah.
funny to watch those sound effects people, like when they do they have boots that they walk on like
Mhm.
rocks, and
Literally.
they do the
Yeah.
chains and
Yeah.
everything they can to like make the scene. They
And actually-
layer it in over and
Yeah.
over. to
And I think
different
Or
things.
my
Frantics.
Python,
On the
coconuts.
Frantics thing, yeah, the Monty Python is the classic, obviously, but like the Frantics, like with the boot to the head thing, a bunch of their skits, they have people doing sound effects. They actually have Foley artists because
Yeah.
they're all live performances.
Yeah, true.
So they
So someone's
actually
doing
have
that
people
whoosh
not
doing
only
sound.
not only
Yeah.
to figure out what sounds like what, or what should sound like what is more accurate,
Yeah.
and then to record it cleanly and get it right, and then to mix it. Like, there's so much involved with that, and people like
Try to do it
they always
live,
said
yeah.
it, like they always, well, Mock, you know, like in the best thing about the best compliment with editing is when people don't recognize it,
They
or
don't
they don't
notice.
they don't
Yeah.
notice.
Yeah, the whole thing with special effects too.
Yeah.
But the best
Like,
special
have you ever watched like in the older 80s action movies where it's the same sound effect over and over again for
Yeah,
a
it's
man
same-
hitting another
same
man
Fucking
with a
library.
punch?
watermelon punch.
It's the
Yeah.
same punch
So,
sound. Yeah,
we
it's
were
over
told-
and over. It's like, dude, you gotta the
Or
sound.
the
person should
Indiana
have done
Jones
more
one, which
of
sounds like
variety.
it sounds like someone with
Yeah,
like
the punch.
500 pounds
Mhm.
hitting something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we actually did before movie night 2 weeks ago, but we watched the 15-minute compilation of Wilhelm screams.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
shit.
Yeah, and it's
Those are fun,
15
aren't
minutes
they?
of
Oh
Wilhelm
damn! That was
different
yeah.
movies.
That was a Saturday night. I was at the
Different
cabin.
movies, that's
and
why,
it was
yeah.
like all the different movies, and it was not
I wish
obviously all of
I
them,
wish I was there for that.
but
one.
like yeah, it was
That's
just like
fun.
nonstop Wilhelm screams, and we taught I think Necros had never heard it before, and now there's no way in hell he will ever
You hear
that
it
scream
everywhere
again
now. Once
and
you
not
see
go,
that.
oh yeah, they fucking got that from that library.
It's so and sound effects people like to sneak it in everywhere.
It's a
just 'cause
joke
It's a
at this
fun
point.
Oh
thing,
yeah. Isn't it? I thought that
Especially
was the
Star
George
Wars
Lucas
movies,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's way older than that.
It's
It's-
yeah, no, I
oh,
know
it is.
that, but I'm just saying that every Star Wars movie has one in it.
Yeah, all
somewhere.
the Star Wars movies and cartoons and all the rest of that shit, they all have
yeah,
Wilhelms
all
in
the
them.
Indiana Jones has one in
Yeah.
there somewhere.
Yep.
And yeah,
Yeah. George Lucas and Spielberg, I think, really like them.
Yeah.
A
But
lot
this
of
is a
people
great,
do. They're
it's a
everywhere.
hilarious. I
Yeah.
just like randomly like in YouTube just put in Wilhelm scream or Wilhelm compilation.
Yeah.
And it came up with one that was like
Did
15
it show
minutes
the
long.
original where the guy gets shot with the arrow in the leg and goes, ah?
I think it starts with the original, yeah.
Yeah, the original Wilhelm.
Wilhelm. Yeah.
Wow.
But at the end of it, it's like, yeah. You're almost getting tired of hearing it, but it's so fucking funny.
Right?
So here's the weird thing about the Wilhelm scream is that the original soundbite did not actually come from that Wilhelm scene. It was actually earlier where a guy I think it's an Indian, gets bit by a alligator in a water. That's where it actually originally came from.
That's the first place they used it?
That's the first one. Yeah, the first time they used it.
Yeah.
And then the second time they used it was Wilhelm getting shot with the arrow. And then from that point, it was just called the Wilhelm.
The original recording sounded more like this. Wow. And then they changed it a little bit.
Sped it up a little bit.
Yeah, and then it's amazing what technology can do.
Foley artists.
But once
you raise it a couple octaves higher, a little bit, higher pitch.
Like, we need to speed it up a little bit.
Yeah.
A few
change
pitches.
the pitch up and then
enhance.
Down.
But now that
that's the enhance button.
Once you've listened to like a bunch of those Wilhelm screams, you hear them now all the time when you watch a movie. You're like, oh, there's Wilhelm. You just say it. Oh, there it is.
Mm-hmm. You can see that they're putting it in as a joke. It's like, oh, yeah, haha.
Yep.
There was a whole bunch of like My Little Pony ones in that compilation
when
too.
Princess Leia and Luke in the first Star Wars movie are shooting up at this before he does the rope and she kisses them for good luck. One of the stormtroopers that falls off the ledge is the Wilhelm
jumps off.
Scream on that. Yeah. So there's one right there if you ever want to see one. But
there's another one in the Sarlacc pit in Return of the Jedi.
True.
When the dude falls in.
Yep. Yeah, they're all over. They're all over the place. But those are fun.
It's a little bit like a Where's Waldo.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, there you go.
Right. You're waiting for it.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Usually somewhere in an action movie. Somewhere. Sometimes they alter it too. Like they speed it up a little bit.
Yep, they change it.
They change it a little bit, but it's the same sound. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there was like a thing a few years ago, maybe it was more than a few years ago, where they wanted to retire it. Where it's like, let's just fucking stop doing this thing.
Yeah, everyone's doing it too much. Everyone's doing it too much. Yeah.
But now the joke is funny again, so they're putting it back still in the movies.
I still hear it.
Yeah.
In new movies, I still hear it. I go,
it's still there.
Yeah. It's everywhere. Those compilations are funny on YouTube though, where it just shows all these different movies. Like what was that Toy Soldiers movie? There's one in there, and Gremlins. I think there's one in there. It's just so many.
Crazy how many there are. Yeah. So this was 15 minutes of like 5-second clips
of just one after another
of that same death sound. And it's just like someone getting blown up and in the background.
It's usually a guy flying off.
It's always someone, flying through the air. Except My Little Pony. Again, My Little Pony. I haven't watched any of those, but like I saw a lot of them during that thing. And it's like, oh, it's weirdly just randomly in the background.
What?
Like
really?
No one flies, no one does anything.
They just put it in like for the hell
like
of
a thing, and then people talking, and all of a sudden,
like, where
weird. The fuck did that come from?
Yeah, I just got to put it in.
Every episode, I guess. I don't know.
That's weird.
Yeah, you got to ask the bronies about that one.
No, thank you. That's a convention I will not attend.
You get laid.
I gotta fly into the Bronies convention. We're having a foursome.
Bronies.
So picking fur
speaking
out
of bronies, apparently, according to Seabird, I'm a brony. So, actually, one of my favorite Foley effects are bird noises, is particularly loons and ducks versus geese.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite laughable moments that probably 75% of the population wouldn't understand or notice is in I think it's Mighty Ducks 2 at the very end, because they talk about their big thing is the flying V formation.
I'm thinking 75% of people haven't seen that movie, but okay, go ahead.
It was a theatrical movie.
No, I know. I saw the first one.
I
don't remember the second one.
That one, the second one made more money than all of them.
Yep.
Franchise.
But the second one I think made more money than any of them. Anyways, but
I got it on Blu-ray.
Okay, I don't have it on Blu-ray, so you beat me there. At the very end. Well, first off, the first movie is based in Minnesota. It was shot in Minnesota. Minnesota Ducks, whatever. But their big thing is that the ducks fly in a perfect V, and that's totally false as it is. Ducks don't do that. Geese do. But anyways, what's funny is that in the second
Easier
movie,
to shoot at.
Hunter talk there.
I know.
and at the
You're
end
talking
of,
over
end
our
of-
heads.
Yeah.
Okay. So at the end of the second movie,
They're flying. Sorry, never mind.
at the end of the second movie, they're at the very end, they
Over
win
our heads,
or whatever. And they show it. I'm pretty sure it's stock footage, but the shot, it's supposed to be a shot of ducks flying in the V formation
Over their heads. It's like stock
Over their
footage.
heads, yes.
and
Yeah, over my head too.
it's a flock of geese. It's a flock of geese, and they put duck quacking sounds over it.
Oh,
no.
yeah. No, that's like actually that's a good example of Foley artist failure. With same thing with like rats. Anytime you see rats
You
And
hear
they squeak
in a
squeaking
movie,
sound?
they're always
over,
squeaking
yeah.
constantly.
Yeah, constantly.
Yeah.
The rats
don't
never
do
make
that.
a noise. Hardly.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
No,
Hardly
You
they're
ever owned
actually
a
pretty
rat?
damn quiet.
Yeah.
Unless they're hurt.
'Cause-
Yeah, they don't make.
Yeah,
a
they don't
noise.
make a noise at all. They always go squeak, squeak,
They're
squeak.
quiet. Yeah, but
they
yeah.
don't make a noise.
But
yeah.
my second favorite is loons.
It's like movie
Anytime there's a
air.
jungle scene, Foley artists feel the need, they have to play loon calls.
It's like, where are you?
And-
Are you in the
And
swamps?
there'll be like an action movie with like Schwarzenegger, and then they're in the middle of a desert,
loons out
Yeah.
there, and
and there's loons. Everywhere there's loons. There may not be water for hundreds of miles, but there's loons.
yeah.
Okay. Anyone that doesn't live near a lake, maybe they don't notice that, but it's so obvious. I'm always laughing. I'm like, a buddy of mine, my buddy Scott, will go to a movie, and if it's a big action movie, I'm like, $20 says that there's a loon sound
Find the
coming up.
loon.
Yeah.
Go see Predator.
It's
There's
like a
loons
drinking game.
everywhere.
Oh, Predator's full. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's like horror movies with cicadas.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's right.
You know what bothered me a lot is watching movies or TV shows where kids are playing a video game and it's the wrong sound effect to the console that they're playing. It's
Yes.
stupid.
How many
It's a
times
stupid
have you,
argument,
how many
but
times
it's
have you
dumb.
watched a movie where
Yeah.
someone's playing a video game and you hear Pac-Man losing?
It's always
Pac-Man
Pac-Man,
dying.
Atari
Pac-Man.
2600.
Or the death of
Pac-Man
Pac-Man.
even.
Yeah.
Because that's like the sound file
Mhm.
that they have, and they're just using.
It's just
there.
labeled
Oh.
in their sound library arcade.mp3.
Yeah.
Speaking of
yeah.
that, speaking
It'll
of
be in
that,
the car
I just
playing a handheld.
watched.
It'll be that. You know, stupid.
I just
But it'll
watched
be
an
still
episode
be the
of
2600.
Yeah, 2600 Pac-Man always.
I say, yeah.
I just watched an episode of Boy Meets World, which is from like the early 90s, right? And in one of their episodes, there's supposed to be it's this episode where it doesn't really, the premise doesn't really matter a whole lot, but he's supposed to be Corey's friend, the main lead's friend, is supposed to be getting roped into being a part of a cult. And they're in this like youth shelter type, they're like this youth shelter type place. And they have a couple arcade games. And one of them is clearly Afterburner, but they're kind of covering everything up, and you can't quite see the title. And they've
Yeah.
done something different with the title, and
The
it
marquee,
doesn't. Yeah, it's they've altered the marquee. It's kind of like Saved by the Bell.
Yeah, they do
where
that
like
too.
they can't
Yeah.
quite you can't. They tried to make it all generic, but it's so obvious because you see this girl with this big, huge, the big
Playing
like flight
it.
grip, and on the side at one scene you can see clearly it's Afterburner, but
Oh,
like they're
wow.
just trying so hard to cover it up.
Yeah.
It's like,
They don't want
Yeah.
to pay the license to Sega.
yeah,
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
yeah.
Pretty funny.
That's
All right,
always
guys,
weird.
I got to clock out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's
no,
call it a
it's
night.
Yeah,
late.
Gag needs to play some
11:30.
roller.
I think we're all just sitting here
Yeah.
waiting for someone
Wait,
to
was
say
it? Is it roller ball? What's it? Roller
Go for the
Oh, we did that last,
wall.
T-Bart.
It's
Roller
roller
games.
games.
roller
Yeah,
games.
Roller
Games.
games.
Rectify.
Nice cheesy
Thanks for
80s, but it
thanks
came
for
out in the
everybody
90s.
sticking
Yeah.
with us on a late. What's a late
Yeah.
show
Yeah,
tonight?
show,
dropping
mate.
off like
Hey, we had a lot to
Eleven-
talk about for a change.
We did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we talk about
We've got
Looney
things
Tunes.
we want to
From
talk about.
mostly
so-
on topic.
Lethargy. I will
Yeah,
try
yeah.
to hop onto
Oh, that-
Street Fighter here. I'm rusty. I haven't played
Oh,
since I
there
got
you go.
Wonka. I
wow.
blame Wonka. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wonka's fault.
it's Willie's fault.
So what
Blame
number was
Willie.
this? Mock?
Blame the wet
Oh,
willy.
this is 226. 226.
Jesus.
26.
Seriously?
Oh.
Wow.
So season 2, episode 26.
Season
Yeah.
1, episode
Oh, yeah.
226.
Yes. Yeah. No. We got to stick.
Season
So
0.
we're
Season
20
0.
we're 24
22.
weeks away from like
Like
super
jumpers on
special
a
one.
hard drive. Season 0.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Wow.
think about
Well-
something special in about 24 weeks.
This
about
way,
half
if
a
anyone
year.
asks, if anyone starts ridiculing us for doing
like
this,
that.
we can
Especially
just
with
be
the
like,
pandemic.
we can
They all
deny
go
at
by
this
so
point.
fast.
We can deny it because we don't have an official season. We're like, no, that show never happened. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yep. All right, guys.
All right.
you guys.
Fine,
Well,
good
thanks everybody
night.
for joining
Good
us,
night.
and have a good night.
Oh shit! I don't have any music
Yep.
queued. That's
So
all right.
long,
Farewell. La, la, la,
Things and
la,
stuff
la,
and-
la.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That
that'll
was
get
the
us kicked.
first thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Quick, ended it quick.
Well,